Miles of blue-collar roads separate hate-filled rivals. Those caked with coal and strengthened by steel in one day every year. Sweet Caroline meets country roads. Take me home. In 3 words are all you need to explain one of the best rivalries in the history of sports. The backyard brawl.
Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling. And welcome to Pittsburgh for the Backyard Brawl. It is West Virginia and Pitt, and 2 fan bases that fuel a rivalry to the top of the heap in college football, foisted on hate. And this is the 107th edition. With that, we say hello, and thanks for joining us. Alongside the former 2-time All-American and NFL linebacker Kirk Morrison, I'm Mike Monaco. Don Davenport is down on the field. Well, in a day and age where a lot of rivalries have softened around the edges, this one hasn't.
No, not at all. Driving around Pittsburgh over the last couple of days, you realize this is backyard brawl weekend. And the way the fans got here earlier today, the energy in this place, unbelievable. I can't wait for kickoff.
As if it needs an introduction, this is the backyard brawl. No trophy, just playing for hate. Pat McAfee told you these schools separated by 75 miles. It's brawl number 107, the most common opponent for each team. Overall, Pitt's got the edge in the all-time series, but West Virginia did win last year in Morgantown, and it's often close. 6 of the last 7 games, 1-score affairs. And Kirk, beyond the rivalry for both these head coaches, it's crucial today.
Yeah, they're finishing up the non-conference slate, especially when it comes to West Virginia. They keep talking about game number 1 versus Penn State. They got embarrassed. So Coach Brown wants to see who is the team that's going to go into conference and play. And on the other side, Pat Narduzzi, after they overcame a 21-point deficit a week ago, what Pitt team will we see today in the brawl?
Those are the questions. Rabid scene at Acrisure Stadium. 2 words, let's brawl. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Well, West Virginia is in enemy territory in Pittsburgh today, and Don Davenport took the ride on the team bus into this stadium with the Mountaineers.
Mike, I got to tell you, I got a glimpse of how heated this rivalry really is, especially when we turned around the corner to the stadium. What a crazy scene. Hundreds of Pitt fans with signs chanting things I can't repeat. There was some thumbs down. There were a lot of gestures. The bus described as Pitt sign language. The bus was quiet until they hit that loud group of fans, and that's when a West Virginia player stood up, yelled, "Let's go." Man, I love this. Guys, clearly maintaining composure today, key. One of Neil Brown's favorite sayings, play with emotion, don't be emotional.
That is the fine line for both these teams in this rivalry. Ben Sauls boots it deep to Traylon Ray for West Virginia, who won the toss, wants the football, and they will start at the 25. So Garrett Green leads the Mountaineers. 5th-year senior, 2nd year as the full-time starter, a dual-threat native of Tallahassee. Last year, honorable mention Big 12. 2 games so far this year, really struggled in week 1 against Penn State, like you said. Better last week against an FCS opponent.
Just make the routine play routine. That's all Garrett Green has to do, Mike. I think he's trying to do too much early on in that Penn State game. Looked a little more comfortable last week versus Albany.
You see the loss to another rival for West Virginia and Penn State in week 1, and a huge part of the schedule for Neil Brown's group. Traylon Ray slips a tackle on the jet sweep, and he finds positive yardage. So we showed you the upcoming schedule. That's why Neil Brown said to us, this 3-week stretch is going to make or break our season.
You're learning your team week by week, and you see glimpses of good plays and then bad plays. You want today to be the game that sort of sets that foundation for the rest of the season. I mentioned they go into conference play next week. What a way to go into conference play, having beat your arch rival.
Off a 9-win season last year, so many expectations ahead of this season. Neil Brown's 6th in Morgantown. Jaheim White is the electric running back, part of the 2-headed tandem, and Jaheim White has a first down to the 37, dragged down by Donovan McMillan after 10.
Yeah, getting nice blocks on
on the tight end. And this is one of those situations where the blocking along the line of scrimmage, you're just going to have to get in the way of a lot of these Pitt Panther defenders. They're going to move the front. They've got safeties who can come down on either side and fill the gaps. So you're going to have to see these tight ends have to be huge today. That was a nice block on the last one by Cole Taylor, number 87.
And one of those big tight ends for those pair of running backs. And, of course, Garrett Green runs it so well himself, too. There's Taylor, the tight end, in motion. Four-man rush, and Green into traffic in the direction of Donovan McMillan, who broke it up.
Nice job there by McMillan. He's just eyeing Garrett Green. And this is sometime the quarterback has to move the safeties. You can do it subtle. You can do it with your feet. You can do it so many different ways. But if you look right, McMillan just staring at him. He's at his safety spot. He's looking at Green the entire time. And I'll tell you this, Green missed out. That was an opportunity and he could have just threw that ball away. McMillan almost had an interception for a touchdown.
He's been so focused, Garrett Green has, on improving his completion percentage. Risky throw there. Second down and 10, and Green on a draw. Ran for nearly 800 yards last year, and that'll set up third down and manageable with Kyle Lewis and Rasheem Biles in on the stop.
I love this chess match, Mike. So Pittsburgh defensively, I feel like they want Green to run. But if you're West Virginia, how much do you ask your quarterback to run? Just the way that this defense swarms, this is what they want. They want to set up these third and mediums, but allow Green to try to run the football when it's not there.
And listen to this place. Third down and 3, it's Jaheim White, and the speedster cannot get there. Kyle Lewis in on the stop, and it's fourth down.
Watch Kyle Lewis come from the left side of your screen. He stays home. He's patient. He's patient. He's held that edge. If he doesn't make that play, that's a first down, and those chains keep moving. But Kyle Lewis, the 6 foot, 225-pound star player, that's a star play by Kyle Lewis getting off the field. You get excited for those big ones.
Redshirt sophomore, who Pat Narduzzi has said we want him on the field the entire game. And it brings out Ollie Stroud, the junior from Melbourne, Australia, to get it away. To Kenny Johnson, talented sophomore wideout, watches that one go out of bounds inside the 15. So, on the Pitt side, it's the third career start for Louisiana native Eli Holstein. Number 29 recruit in the country. Went to Bama, redshirted last year, transfers to Pitt. He beat out Nate Yarnell, and after a shaky start to the game last week, he helped lead the comeback from 21 down.
The key word here that the coaching staff keeps talking about Eli Holstein is maturity. They've never seen a kid come in. He's only a redshirt freshman, but yet the maturity that he's brought to this football team, everyone speaks highly of number 10.
From the 15, this is on the ground to the talented transfer running back, Des Reed, for a loss of 1. Year 10 for Pat Narduzzi, who had that big comeback for his group last week. And in week 1, convincing 55 points against Kent State, and a good start to this season. A brand new offense with Cade Bell, the OC. Pressure around Holstein, and he fires incomplete in the direction of Reed, and it brings up third down and long with the pressure applied by T.J. Jackson.
Yeah, T.J. Jackson having a great start to this football game. He gets the tackle on first down, and then he gets the pressure on second down. And if you're West Virginia defensively, this is the position that you want to be in. 3rd and 11, you're on the road. You want to make Eli Holstein have to hold that football on 3rd and long.
Holstein goes through his progression, looking for somewhere to go, and he checks it down for just a couple to Gavin Bartholomew. West Virginia counters with a stop of its own.
Yeah, nice job, West Virginia. They had that cover 2 shell. So everything was going to have to be thrown in front. Nice job of everybody guarding their man, forcing Eli Holstein to have to check it down. This wasn't a coverage sack, but this was a great job by everybody guarding who's in front of him, making the quarterback, like I said, had to hold it and check it down.
So Caleb Junko comes out to punt it away to Preston Fox. Approaches the 45, and he ducks down at the 47. And West Virginia will have great field position for its second drive in the backyard brawl when we come back to Pittsburgh.
Welcome back. No score in the backyard brawl in the first quarter. This is a West Virginia team that Neil Brown failed miserably mentally in a Week 1 loss to Penn State. Thought they were ready to play. He said he was wrong. So they have spent extra time since then with their staff sports psychologist, Dr. Sophia Perez. She's done a lot of visualization exercises with the team. Guys focused on getting the players in a more neutral mindset.
They've done team-wide stuff and then individual one-on-one mental sessions as well since that game 2 weeks ago against the Nittany Lions. Second possession starts with big-bodied C.J. Donaldson in the plus territory. And in particular, Kirk, for Garrett Green. Offensive coordinator Chad Scott told us Garrett wasn't himself at all in Week 1.
I think he was just trying to do too much, trying to make the big play. Look, it's Penn State, it's national television. Just make the routine play, the easy play. I saw more of that last week, but in Week 1, you can't let the one loss become two. And I think they did a good job last week of getting over that loss.
The message from the sports psychologist to Garrett Green this week is be you. Use the emotion you often play with. Rodney Gallagher in motion. Green under pressure. Steps up, throws on the run. He's got Gallagher. Out of bounds at the 15. To the two-way talent, Rodney Gallagher, a Western PA native for 34.
How was this play created, Mike? It's the legs of the quarterback. He steps up in the pocket. It's a subtle move in the pocket, and it buys enough time to get the ball out to Gallagher. That was a Garrett Green. We were just talking about him. Just make plays. Just go have fun. That was a fun play for Garrett Green, and definitely a lot of confidence building on that one.
That's what he can do with his legs, and he connects with Gallagher, who will play some cornerback as well for the Mountaineers, who are in the red zone. Green sets up a screen. He's got it complete to Hudson Clement. He takes it inside the 10. Donovan McMillan in on the stop after 8 yards.
Yeah, one of the better red zone defenses is Pitt. So how do you create space? How do you find plays? That time a nice screen, getting this defensive front to go east and west. They want to go sack the quarterback, Mike. That is no doubt about what Pitt wants to do defensively. So what do? How do you slow down the rush? Throw screens, get the ball out to the perimeter.
And always aggressive Pitt defense under Pat Narduzzi and his coordinator Randy Bates. Second down from the 8. Green pulls it on the move and can't escape. Rasheem Biles in on the stop, and it's third down.
Everybody just staying home. Just watch these players over here. They're just staying home. Everybody doing their job. That's what team defense is all about. Staying square, doing your job. You have the DN, he attacks the running back, and then the overlap gets to the quarterback. That's a hand clap for everybody on defense because you did your job. Disciplined defense.
And now big third down and 4 for Neil Brown in West Virginia. Green to throw, swings it out, C.J. Donaldson in for a touchdown. West Virginia strikes first in the brawl. Remember, it was 2 years ago here where C.J. Donaldson had his breakout and his arrival in college. Told us this week he didn't even think he was going to get a carry in that game. He blocked a punt, it set up a touchdown, and now 2 years later, he starts the scoring for Neil Brown in West Virginia. Mike Hayes is on for the point after. 5 plays, 53 yards with great starting field position for the Mountaineers.
All you got to do is try to create a dilemma, create a challenge. No communication, wide open Donaldson. Mountaineers on the board first here in Pittsburgh.
ESPN College Football is presented by Sling. Choose and customize your channel lineup. Sling lets you do that. And in part by Vrbo Private Vacation Rentals. Relax, you booked a Vrbo.
A rivalry that began in 1895 underwent an 11-year hiatus, now in its 3rd year back. They're going to play next year as well, and C.J. Donaldson knows it well. Started it 2 years ago here in Pittsburgh, and then last year as well in the win in Morgantown. He's got his first career receiving touchdown to start out brawl number 107. Mike Hayes will boot it deep for West Virginia, with Kenny Johnson, who ran one back last year with a fair catch at the 5. Kurt, let's go back to the touchdown.
I want you to watch number 31, Rasheem Biles. So he's the linebacker. He has to realize that there's going to be traffic, but understand, is it man-to-man or is it zone? He's thinking it's zone, so he tries to pass off. It was actually man-to-man. The corner took the receiver, but no one was left for Donaldson. That should have been communication between the corner and Biles. They didn't communicate, and being at home, it's loud. No communication results in a touchdown.
Going to be loud on both sides to deal with that. Both coaches talked to us about how they're dealing with it throughout the week. Des Reed scampers up the middle, and the electric Western Carolina transfer runs into Anthony Wilson after 9, and he's one of the centerpieces of this Cade Bell offense, the 31-year-old offensive coordinator who wants to go fast. Quickly to the air, and it's Kenny Johnson who's got a first down, bumped out of bounds past the 40.
Yeah, you mentioned going fast. They want to run a play every 7 seconds. So it's basically run the play, be able to just kind of take a quick breath, and you're right back on the football. That's 2 plays in less than 20 seconds, Mike.
They've been averaging a snap with 19 left on the play clock. Eli Holstein takes a shot. Johnson downfield, holds it in. At the 16-yard line, Kenny Johnson for 42.
Oh, that's got to feel good for Kenny Johnson. Last week versus Cincinnati, they double-teamed him. They kept Kenny Johnson from getting a catch last week. So that's a huge catch to start this drive.
Talented sophomore had a huge week 1, and then, like you said, shut out last week against Cincinnati. Fake the pitch, Holstein, end zone shot, and along the sideline, it's incomplete, out of bounds to Poppy Williams. Eli Holstein cannot believe it.
Oh, man, it may have got, it's simultaneous almost. All he needs is 1 foot in. Looks like both feet touched simultaneously. One out of bounds, one inbounds. And you can kind of sense that from a team that likes to go fast. They're going slow. They want the officials to take another look at this one.
And they will. And Poppy Williams is fired up. He saw both those feet come down. And Michael Vandervelde presiding over this one as it goes to review.
So I think we've already maintained he makes the catch, but it's what foot comes down first. Is it the one inbounds or is it the one out of bounds? That's going to be the question. Is it the right foot? Does that touch the grass first, or does that left foot touch the grass, which was out of bounds first? This is a tough one for our replay booth. I would say not enough to overturn. Remember, the call on the field was incomplete. So do we have a look? Because the ones that I've seen so far, Mike, the ones that I'm looking at now, I don't know if I see a look that definitively says the right foot touched inbound first. It looks simultaneous with both feet. One inbounds, one out of bounds.
Yeah, and hard to tell there the flip side of that.
Right.
If the left foot was indeed down before the right foot, its toe touches down in any way.
Yeah, that's tough. You can watch all the replays, and I just don't see one just yet, Mike, that definitively says touchdown.
Well, it was Eli Holstein taking a couple of shots. First down the left sideline to Kenny Johnson, and then he saw the opening to Poppy Williams, the transfer from San Diego State, who's reunited with his longtime offensive coordinator, Cade Bell.
After review, ruling on the field, stands is called. Incomplete pass, 2nd down.
And I think that's the right call, just because the looks, nothing showed me definitively of which foot came down first. It looked simultaneous, so I think that's why you stand with the call on the field. I almost also believe that Holstein sort of reacted in a way that he didn't think that Williams was going to be that wide open.
Yeah.
He kind of took his time in throwing them. I think if he would have put a little more mustard on that one, could have been a touchdown.
And there was an 8-letter chant of frustration from the Panther pit, letting you know what they thought of the call standing. Here's the screen right side. Kanate Mumfield coming off his best game in a Pitt uniform. Gets a few yards there, and it sets up third down.
That's a nice tackle over there by Jaheim Joseph, getting off the block of the receiver to go make that play to force a third down opportunity.
And now big third down for Eli Holstein and the Panthers. Down a touchdown in this first quarter of the backyard brawl. Mumfield motions out. Holstein looks that way. Holstein under pressure, nearly picked by Dantes Fagan. And it's fourth down. Pass intended for the tight end, Gavin Bartholomew. And Ben Sauls and the field goal unit will come out for Pat Narduzzi.
That's just nice coverage there. Everybody just being sticky. You got to be sticky in these moments with your coverage. Buying time, buying time. And Holstein held on to it as long as he could, but throwing late in the down, almost had that one intercepted by Fagan.
A pass defense for West Virginia that's had questions about them through the first couple of weeks. Under the guidance of defensive coordinator Jordan Leslie gets the stop. And Ben Sauls comes out from 31. And the veteran in his third year on the job as the field goal kicker is good to get the Panthers on the board. 7-3 is the early Mountaineers lead on the Panthers at Pitt. Tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, #1 Georgia takes on Kentucky. Find live sports with Where to Watch only on the ESPN app and ESPN.com. The ultimate viewing guide to live sports. Georgia thrashed Clemson a couple weeks ago. Now they open up SEC play on the road, and they face a former dog in Kentucky quarterback Brock Vandagriff. Ben Sauls gets it away, and it's a touchback, and we check in for the first time with Kevin Connors. All right. Okay. Purdue hasn't knocked off Notre Dame since 2007. Good start for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, can they rebound? Last week, embarrassing loss in Notre Dame standards, but can you bounce back, keep the season still on track?
And here in Pittsburgh, 6+ minutes to go in the first quarter. West Virginia with the football and the lead. And here's Jaheim White. Takes it out toward the 30. This guy can go. Garrett Green said to us he's our little spark plug, and he's probably the best athlete on the team.
Yeah, he's got some gas to him. And you love watching both of these guys. Jaheim White, #1, C.J. Donaldson, Jr., #4. The plays don't change with either back in the backfield.
White gets it again up the middle, and he runs into the arms of Nick James. No gain, and third down coming up. Look back the last 2 seasons, and Jaheim White leads all FBS backs in yards per carry these last 2 seasons.
Yeah, he was a freshman All-American, so people are on notice on what Jaheim White can do with the ball in his hands. But this is the most important down here. Third down for Garrett Green. The check down. Watch the check down, and also if you're Pitt with these 2 high safeties.
Four-man rush. They swing it out to Jaheim White, lowers the shoulder, and he is short. Stood up by Ryland Gandy, the redshirt sophomore corner, and he forces fourth down.
Yeah, Pitt's not going to hide it. They're going to play cover 2 on third down. It's the 2 high safeties, and they're going to make Garrett Green have to find an open receiver. He checks it down to the back, but a nice job by Gandy tackling White short of the first down.
I really liked his second half last week. Randy Bates was telling us he expected it to continue from the corner, Ryland Gandy. So Ollie Straw again. Honorable mention, Big 12 last year, ready to boot it deep. To Kenny Johnson. Punts it on the move, and Johnson We'll watch this one go out of bounds near the 30. All right, tell us about Kirk's key and what you see from Eli Holstein.
Well, the one thing about Eli Holstein is this. He loves to throw to an area. It's catch and go moments that I call for the wide receiver, where every time they catch the football, they have the ability to keep running. Last week, those 3 touchdowns were contributed because of this reason why. Eli Holstein puts the ball to the area, the receiver goes and gets it, and then it's off to the races. Can he find more of those plays today?
And you think about yards after catch, guys, Des Reed, the running back, is probably the best one.
Yeah, he can go. One of the track guys on this football team.
Much better last quarter and a half last week in that comeback win against Cincinnati for Holstein. They swing it out to Reed, and he gets swarmed immediately by Trey Lathan. It's a loss of 4, and the linebacker Lathan in on the stop.
When you see space, you got to go run. You got to go get it. And Trey Lathan is just standing right here, and he just goes right now, right away. When you see that type of play, that's your coverage. Go get your coverage. That's a next tackle for loss to start the drive for West Virginia defensively.
And how about 4 touches for 1 total yard for Des Reed, who leads everybody in FBS in all-purpose yards per game. Fake it to him here. Holstein will fire into traffic, and Johnson makes the catch off the bobble. Anthony Wilson was draped all over him, but Kenny Johnson sticks with it for 21.
Well, that's why you got to play all the way through the play. Anthony Wilson knocked it away with his right hand. The ball flops in the air. He's just got to finish at the end. And nice concentration there, like you mentioned, by Kenny Johnson. Now his 2nd catch of the game, but Johnson, with the ball in the air, he finished the play. Anthony Wilson sort of almost celebrated as if the play was over.
3 for 71 you see already for Kenny Johnson. From the 42, Holstein gets it out quickly, and it's Kanate Mumfield in the plus territory before he was dragged down by Jaheim Joseph, and back to Kenny Johnson.
Yeah, just going back to that play, it was just a nice previous play. Anthony Wilson's there, knocks the ball up. He can't locate it, and Kenny Johnson pulls it down.
On the ground, this is Des Reed for maybe a yard into the arms of Ty French.
But you see, this offense is quick, it is fast, it is up-tempo. And Coach Narduzzi, for a defensive coach to go out and hire this type of offense, it was been more pro-style here at Pitt for a long time. He wanted something different, and that's why he went out and got Cade Bell. And this offense, if it's any indication of what we've seen the first couple of weeks, we should have a high-scoring game today.
4-man rush, check down Reed, made a man miss, and Des Reed has the first down and more. Inside the 25, stopped by Anthony Wilson. His jump cuts are elite.
Yeah, Reed Carrico can tell you about the jump cut. Reed Carrico's a linebacker, and he's right there on Reed. And it's just a quick 1-2, and Reed is gone. This is what he did last week. This is a transfer from Western Carolina coming up to the FBS level and showing everybody he's an outstanding player, Mike. He's been fun to watch.
In this new look offense for Pat Narduzzi's bunch. Yeah, Reed had more than 100 on the ground and through the air last week. First Pitt player on record to go 100.
Wait, Anthony Dorsett never did that?
And how about this? A rarity, play clock winding down on Pitt. Pat Narduzzi had said back in the spring, I don't know if we'll ever have a delay of game again. All right, so many great moments in this backyard brawl through the years. Let's go back a couple of years ago, a little bit more higher scoring than it was last year.
Yeah, just remember, this is the reuniting of the rivalry. So everybody was excited going back and forth, and it came all the way down to the end, Mike.
MJ Devonshire with the pick 6. Neil Brown said to us his wide receiver, Bryce Wheaton, lost it in the lights. And MJ Devonshire, a famous pick 6 in front of a crowd of 70,622, the largest crowd ever for a sporting event in this city.
You know, I love what Pat McAfee said today earlier on game day. It's this game, this rivalry, the backyard brawl. Legends are made in this game. Legends around here in this area are made in this football game.
First met back in 1895. Out of the timeout, Eli Holstein. He can run a little bit, and Holstein barrels down with a first down. Dantes Fagan wraps him up after a dozen, and Pitt's offense beckoning the Panther pit.
And showing a little emotion there, Mr. Holstein, right? Get a little excited. Remember last year, who did he back up? Jalen Milroe, the quarterback over at Alabama. Now Holstein showing off the legs a little bit.
He gives it to Reed here, pushes forward for a couple of yards. And Holstein, a guy we told you was a top 30 recruit in his class. Same names as all the big sophomore quarterbacks, Iamaliava, Manning, Arnold, those types of guys he was in the company of.
Yeah, he understands that, look, when you're at Alabama, you got to wait your turn. The way Jalen Milroe was playing, it's I need to go somewhere to progress as a quarterback. He recruited Pitt. I know Pitt was after him, but he said he wanted to come to a place, especially an offense like this under Cade Bell, where he feels like he can flourish.
He looks toward the end zone. Holstein fires, and it's caught by Reed. Touchdown, Pitt. Oh, how about the electrifying Des Reed, one of the newcomers in this offense. His offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, told us he's 5'6". That's why no one but me was recruiting him his sophomore year in high school. And then he was about to head to Coastal Carolina in the portal when Cade Bell got the OC job here. Des Reed follows his OC to Pittsburgh, and he's been a menace through 3 weeks.
And he's been one of the best players in college football. I'd said it's been fun to watch him. And he's already putting on a show early on. Well, the easier thing is this. I would think, who is the guy you want to stop? You got to stop or you got to find Des Reed. No one finds Des Reed. He goes in motion and he just hooks up with the quarterback. He's standing there. He could have jumped and did jumping jacks, Mike. He's like, hey, right here, me, I'm open. He's open at the goal line. Probably the easiest throw and catch from a quarterback to a receiver / running back. He didn't have to do much. So this is something now that West Virginia, they've got to know where is number 0? Where is Des Reed at all times to allow that player to run wide open in the defense? That is a miscommunication. That is a mental error on West Virginia.
And you see Rodney Hammond beside Des Reed. Hammond, of course, ruled ineligible for this season. And so Des Reed has assumed the bell cow role, and he's doing it rushing and receiving. Cade Bell said to us with Des Reed, I had people recruiting him down in South Florida who told me that Des Reed was the best running back from there since Dalvin Cook. He just, again, happens to be 5'6".
I'll tell you this, he's Mr. Rain Man as well. His recall on his process of recruiting was, I've never heard the stories that he told. It was unbelievable.
McVay-like.
Yes.
Hey, the featured college football games on ESPN Plus tonight. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion. That's been close the last few years. NC Central and North Carolina at 6 Eastern. Vandy, Georgia State starts at 7 Eastern. To get ESPN Plus, go to espnplus.com or download the ESPN app. All right, so good answer from Pitt offensively to go up by 3 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter here at Acrisure Stadium. Garrett Green leads the Mountaineers. On the ground, Jaheim White in a search for space, wrapped up by Donovan McMillan. 5.5 yards on the ground.
You know, one of the best rushing teams in all of FBS last year. #1 in the Power 5. People don't realize that that's what this West Virginia offensive attack is all about. It's getting good gains on 1st and 2nd down and giving the option for Garrett Green on 3rd down, whether it's to throw or take off and run as they let this clock wind down and in the first quarter. But that's what they're going to have to build on, is that run game in the 2nd quarter. Try to get some more points.
And that's exactly the type of game it was last year in Morgantown in the backyard brawl. At the end of the first 15 minutes, Pat Narduzzi's Pitt Panthers lead by 3 against the Mountaineers in another edition of the backyard brawl.
One quarter in the books. Coach Brown, what do you need to see from Garrett Green on this drive?
Well, just consistency. You know, we made a couple plays for him early. He's got to be a little bit more accurate. He's going to make some plays with his feet. we got to get a first down right here and get into what we want to do.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Don, they start with 2nd down and 4 to begin the second quarter, and it's Jaheim White up the middle and appears to have a first down. Yeah, Garrett Green said to us this week he was really disappointed in how he played week 1 against Penn State, and he told us, so I'm chomping at the bit for another big atmosphere, another rivalry game.
Well, I think what they want to do is they want to control the tempo of this game. We know on the opposite side, Pitt's offense, they're high, fast, up-tempo. Whereas West Virginia, they want to slow it down a little bit. And I think when you slow it down, it helps Garrett Green calm down. And maybe on this drive already with 1 first down, they can pile up a couple positive plays.
They've got it to the 35. Pressure comes, and here's the tight end, Cole Taylor. 2nd year at West Virginia after transferring from LSU. Donovan McMillan in on the stop.
Yeah, they want to get him more active. Like, he led the team last year in receptions. They want to get him a lot more touches. Last week had a big touchdown in the red zone.
Mountaineers go quickly. Green rifles Taylor again. In the plus territory to the 43. 6'7" tight end.
Yeah, this time they lined him up. They flexed him out. He's almost lined up as a wide receiver. And it was a little switch action, scissors action. Both receivers go to the outside. Bartholomew cuts outside. There's just nobody there. Big completion.
Play action for Green. Takes a deep shot for Clement. Incomplete. A lot of contact with Rashad Battle and Clement. No flag.
I think that was just a planned opportunity, planned shot. You know, once you get into what I call shot territory, once you cross the 50-yard line, you want to throw that football out. I think that ball was uncatchable. You want to lead your receiver, Clement, inbounds a little bit more. They may have gotten a call, but with that ball sailing out of bounds, that was a designed shot attempt just to keep the defense honest.
Randy Bates has challenged his cornerbacks. He says Rashad Battle has responded well. Back to C.J. Donaldson at 238 pounds, and the bruising tailback will set up 3rd down and short.
It's a nice block there by number 50, the center, Brandon Yates. When you get that center in the middle, he snaps the football and gets a nice little kick-out block. And Donaldson, 6'2", 238. He is a north and south guy, Mike. He is not east and west. He is coming downhill, and he wants to force these linebackers for Pitt to have to make a tackle on a 240-pound running back.
And they want to lean on him. Neil Brown said to us, we need Donaldson to punish people in the run game, and now it's 3rd down and short.
Yeah, this is an interesting call here because they're in 4-down territory if they don't get it here on 3rd.
Traylon Davis, the tight end, will block for Donaldson. Stretches right side, and Donaldson with the 2nd effort is close.
Yeah,
couple flags fly, perhaps for a horse collar.
And they just went against what I said, right? We're talking about a running back who's 6'2", 238. He's a north and south guy, not an east and west. And you see how the defense was able to catch up to him. Do they get a horse collar
Personal
tackle?
foul. Horse collar tackle, number 44. Defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Scott, number 44. He didn't actually get the horse collar, but the jersey right at the end, yeah, he got the horse collar. Yeah, at my first thought, I said, oh, did he get jersey? No, he got his hands inside there, pulled him down. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down. I didn't like the play call of getting Donaldson going east and west, getting him out to the outside. That's not his game.
Just run him straight ahead.
Run over a linebacker,
yep.
okay, on those 3rd and shorts. But all to no avail. They got the 1st down due to penalty.
All right, so West Virginia's at the 20. Garrett Green sets up a screen to his tight end, Cole Taylor. Taylor on the move, and he's banged down at the 5. And a flag flies in late with Kyle Lewis in on the stop.
Yeah, do they get Kyle Lewis with possible targeting here? I think that was a late call. He came flying in with the crown of the helmet. That's my initial thought. I don't know if that's what they're called, but you see that ending of that play looked to be Lewis coming in, but a great call there by Neil Brown, hiding the tight end. This has been the Cole Taylor drive. I love it. He's had a couple of 2 earlier catches, and then you sneak him on the screenplay.
Targeting, number 9. Defense. Previous play is under further review.
So this is huge. I mean, this is maybe the best player on Pitt's defense in Kyle Lewis. We'll show you a look now and then they're going to talk things over. We'll step aside. We'll unpack it when we return. Is it crown of the helmet targeting on Kyle Lewis? Back in Pittsburgh, right side of your screen, Kyle Lewis stays in this game. They pick up the flag, no targeting on the hit on Cole Taylor.
Yeah, there was no indicator. There was no lowering of the helmet, no crown of the helmet, no launch. That's a nice job by the replay booth, not confirming the target.
West Virginia has it at the 5. Jaheim White's the running back. Here is White off the right side. Touchdown, Mountaineers! West Virginia's back in front.
We talked about the Cole Taylor drive, but I wanted to show you again. It's not about the receptions for Cole Taylor. Watch this block. He gets the block that's needed to spring White for the touchdown. I'll tell you this, he had the 3 receptions on this drive, and I bet you everybody's clapping it up and saying, great job. But it's what he did on that play. Can you get dirty in the run game? And Cole Taylor got dirty and allowed his running back, Jaheim White, to go in for a touchdown.
Coaches say that Cole Taylor took a major step physically in the offseason, lower body strength, and perhaps with that, his blocking sets up Jaheim White on a go-ahead touchdown for West Virginia. Garrett Green, Jaheim White, they like it. They got the lead early in the second quarter at Pitt. The backyard brawl in Pittsburgh brings out legends on both sides of years past. And Terrell Rivas is with Don Davenport.
Yes, Hall of Fame legends, and also now Pitt Hall of Famer Terrell Rivas. I got to take you back. You know this rivalry. 18 years ago, there's a guy named Pat McAfee who made the mistake of punting to you, and then 73 yards later, end zone. What do you remember about that one?
You know, I did. You know what? It was actually a trick play. It was supposed to be a throwback to one of my teammates, but that actually didn't happen. So I actually was able to catch the bounce, the ball on the bounce, and I made a spectacular play. My teammate made a great block. Derrick Henry made a great block, and yes, Pat McAfee was a part of that play.
You got some words for him?
I mean, I think I'm a hunt his dreams for the rest of his life about that play. I mean, he shouldn't have punted to me.
I love it. What does this place mean to you?
It means everything. You know, this is near and dear to my heart, city of Pittsburgh. I grew up a Steelers fan. I grew up a Power fan, a Penguins fan. So it's the city of champions. You know, when you're growing up and you're watching great football play, great baseball play, and great hockey play, you take a love for it and like it to it.
Offside. Love it. Thank you for giving us some time. Enjoy this rivalry.
Yes, we're going to win. Pitt's going to win this.
Those fouls are by the
kicking team. Right?
Be placed at the 35-yard line, plus 5 yards, 1st and 10, Pitt.
All right, so Terrell Rivas, first things first. You could tell he kind of faked the throw. It was a trick play that didn't happen. Big-time block, as he mentioned, from one of his wide receivers, Derrick Kinder.
That ball we placed at the 35-yard line for the kickoff out of bounds. It's still 1st and 10 for Pitt.
And in the meantime, a couple of penalties on a kickoff that went out of bounds.
He's one
from Mike Hayes.
Yeah, one of the best players I've ever seen play, Terrell Rivas. Played in a division with him in the AFC East, and I literally watched him lock down one side of the field as an opponent. I said, there's a reason why they call him Rivas Island, and the ovation he got here from the hometown fans to be inducting Tao to the Pitt Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
A legend. Flea flicker. Eli Holstein is sworn and sacked. Josiah Trotter and Nate Gabriel in the backfield for the Mountaineers.
Josiah Trotter's downhill. And yes, Trotter, you've heard that name, but watch for it. He's not fooled. He's just coming downhill right now. He's not fooled by the handoff to Reed. He just gets down and goes and makes a play on the quarterback. They never had a chance. There was not enough time to throw that football because Josiah Trotter ran downhill and got the quarterback.
Jeremiah's son, a loss of 9, a screen. Kanate Mumfield gets about 4 yards back. So he's the son of one of the great linebackers, 4-time Pro Bowler, and Jeremiah, and the brother a former Clemson All-American, current Eagles rookie, Jeremiah Jr.
Trust me, watching him on film this whole week, I'll tell you this, Mike, he is an outstanding football player, plays just like his dad.
And now on 3rd down and long for the Panthers, Holstein rolls, a flag flies, and Holstein goes out of bounds. Bumped out by Rodney Gallagher at the 35, and we'll check the marker, perhaps for holding.
I think they get B.J. Williams, the right guard, on the hold here, especially with Holstein getting out of the pocket. Just a broken down play. But I give credit to this West Virginia defense. They're making some plays. They're getting after the quarterback and making sure they've got a couple sets of eyeballs on Desmond Reed.
Holding, number 17, defense. 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run, automatic, 1st down.
So they get it on Zay Jennings, the freshman DB for West Virginia.
Yeah, I saw a hold more in the interior of the offensive line. I think the West Virginia sideline saw the same thing. I didn't see a hold in the back end, but the officials are going to throw that flag, and that's Carrico, number 35. Was their defensive player of the game last week for his performance against Albany. So that's a huge loss for him coming out the game, especially the rotation. And that's, yeah, Neil Brown, he's upset too, I think, because we all saw the penalty, or what should have been a flag, on the interior of that offensive line. And I think that's what Neil Brown is upset with, and he's letting that official on that sideline have an earful.
Yeah, we're trying to find where the holding was on Zay Jennings. In the meantime, Carrico, the Ohio State transfer, goes out. Fresh set of downs for Pitt, and Des Reed springs into plus territory. He's got a 1st down to the 45 at 11 yards.
Vision. You have talked about it, Mike. He's got great vision. He allows the blocks to develop, and he's able, with that track speed, to accelerate through the hole.
And now a couple flags down.
False start, number 78, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Branson Taylor, 5th-year senior, captain at 6'6" on the left side.
Yeah, he's played in a lot of football games. You don't expect that. Guy's played in over 41 games in college. It was just a little mistake there, but remember, this is a new offense for Branson Taylor as well. Going fast, fast, fast. You can only stay in that stance for so long, Mike.
Pat Narduzzi made the hire of Cade Bell after he decided to move on from Frank Signetti Jr. after Pitt's offense last year was the worst in the ACC. Holstein with time, checks it down, and Reed is drilled by Aubrey Burks, the aggressive senior, with the stop. And he's been trying to set up Des Reed, but Aubrey Burks snuffed it out. A really bright young mind, 31-year-old offensive coordinator. 2nd down and long, Holstein rifles, and a great jumping catch by Poppy Williams. Got leveled by Aubrey Burks, and another flag is down.
Yeah, I think this one may be again for targeting possibly on that play, but what a throw. What a throw from Holstein. They call that the honey hole. It's to get that ball in that tight of a window. That's an unbelievable catch by Williams, going up and grabbing it, but an unbelievable throw, getting it between the safety and the corner.
And this is a defenseless receiver, so it doesn't need to be crown of the helmet to be targeting. Just needs to be forcible contact with an indicator to the head or neck area. Waiting on Michael Vanderbilt.
Targeting, number 2, defense. Previous play is under further review.
So there it is. The rule on targeting, as we as a society have come to know through the years. And a question hangs in the balance on Aubrey Burks, one of the best players on West Virginia's defense.
Yeah, from my initial looks, it's the launch, but I don't think it's a crown.
There was no targeting on Pitt's Kyle Lewis, and there's no targeting on West Virginia's Aubrey Burks.
Yeah, I think the elements that you look for targeting just didn't rise to that level of targeting. So a good job by the official, by the replay booth, of not upholding a targeting call.
So Burks, key defensive piece, like we said, for the Mountaineers, stays in for Jordan Leslie and his defense, with Pitt on the move in search of a third straight scoring drive after a 3-and-out to start this game. Holstein takes a shot toward the end zone and out of the reach of Mumpfield.
Missed opportunity. They had it blocked up perfectly. They kept the tight end Bartholomew in as well. So now you had the max protect look, and you got the one-on-one that you wanted all game long with Mumpfield on the corner, the double move on Garnes, and that's just a misfire by Holstein.
Boy, good look though against Garnes. Duquesne transfer, part of a secondary for West Virginia, filled with transfers. On second down, Holstein. Mobile to his left, fires complete, and it's Poppy Williams for a first down. Garnes in on the stop, but 11 yards first, and Pitt's in the red zone.
I like what Holstein did there. See, he likes to just maintain his eyes down the field. He's not running to take off and go, but he's running to buy time, and he found enough time to get the ball to Williams.
And now Des Reed gets swallowed up immediately with a flag in. TJ Jackson in on the tackle. It's been a penalty-filled second quarter.
Anytime I see a player run off with his helmet off, you always think that maybe something happened.
Personal foul, face mask, number 55. Offense, 15-yard penalty, replay, first down. Number 40 can remain in the game as the helmet came off due to foul.
You've been in the trenches enough to know how that works.
Trust me, when you got a guy running off the field without his helmet, and I think Josiah Trotter, just a redshirt freshman, didn't realize that if the other team pulls your helmet off, you can actually stay in the game. So right in the middle of the screen, number 55, B.J. Williams he's got a hand on the helmet of Trotter. Trotter runs off the field without his helmet, and they said, no, you can go back in. So he sprints back on the field.
We've had penalties and near penalties galore since the kickoff that started this possession for Pitt. First down and long, and Holstein moves in the pocket, stays alive, and Holstein shoved out of bounds at the 30. Bumped out by Sean Martin, the defensive end, after 5.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there, Mike. Holstein does enough to stay alive. He keeps his eyes downfield, and if it's nothing there, then he takes off and gets positive yards and gets to the next down. This is, remember again, a redshirt freshman. Okay, only his third start this season. So you're seeing him mature game in and game out. That's a good decision. I'm not trying to force a bad play.
So far, he's played like he did in the second half last week against Cincinnati, in the first half today in the backyard brawl. Holstein tried to check it down, and it's incomplete as he got crunched. Tried to check it to Des Reed, and it's third and long.
Yeah, but there was a late flag. I wonder what this late flag was. I saw the West Virginia defense. They shifted from a cover 2, went to a cover 3 late. So they went from 2 safeties high to 1 safety high. And there was a miscommunication. I don't know if there was a hold defensively, but there was something that the officials saw. And that flag came in really early, Mike, but almost at the snap of the ball.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 1. Defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And I think that's the communication part of it. West Virginia changed their coverage at the last second. And so you've got to communicate that to everybody. And I'm not sure that was communicated to Hollis Jr. He was supposed to, I think, play off as the corner on that side. And he never did. See, everybody's playing zone, and he's still playing man-to-man. That is a miscommunication on the West Virginia defense. It's an automatic first down.
That's huge on Garnett Hollis, the Northwestern transfer, 5th-year senior. Again, for a secondary, there was a little bit in flux coming into this game, and Jordan Leslie was going to see who stepped up and emerged. Fresh set of downs, sideline, and incomplete for Sincere Lee. Hollis in coverage, hip to hip with him.
Nice job there by Holstein. He read the blitz. The blitz came from the opposite side, and you've got one-on-one, and Hollis Jr. is just right in the hip pocket. He's right in the hip pocket of Sincere Lee. That's a nice, it had to be a great throw and an unbelievable catch because the coverage was nice and tight by Hollis.
Well, meantime, the left tackle for Pitt, Branson Taylor, is down injured. Boy, in the last couple years, Pitt has lost its starting left tackle to injury for the season. And in a week in which they get back their left guard, Ryan Jacoby, who missed last week after he got dinged up in week 1. Now Taylor, right beside him at left tackle, is down here in the first half.
Yeah, that's experience. That's experience that you're losing. And here we go right here. That's Branson Taylor, number 78. Looks to be that late blitzer collided with, looks to be the right leg, possibly, or the left leg, possibly.
I think left leg for.
Yeah, he got spun around.
Branson Taylor. Good to see him rise to his feet.
Branson Taylor.
We'll check on him. Well, while we have a moment, this week's college football playoff rankings are brought to you by Goodyear. We told you Georgia tonight, Texas as well. Ohio State is off this week, and Bama convincing in Madison.
The Crimson Tide, they keep rolling, right? Remember, everybody thought that last week against USF, wait, is this Alabama? Are they the same team? Well, you go into Camp Randall and do that, put a 40 spot up there. Yeah, I think Bama's okay. They're back.
And how about Missouri, by the way, against
Yes.
Bill O'Brien's ranked BC team?
Yeah, Luther Burden. It's going to be fun watching him this season. We got to start talking about him for the Heisman. He is a guy that you just see star potential, even at the next level.
Oh, back here at Pitt, Terrence Enos Jr. comes in at left tackle, redshirt junior, who made a start last year at Notre Dame at right tackle. Holstein avoids the rush, throws for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Des Reed. His second, and the Panthers are back in front.
Number 8, Tyron Bradley, he had a beeline for Holstein. He missed on the opportunity for the sack. But we talk about what? Maturity. Everyone on that sideline, every coach that we talk to from Pitt keeps talking about the maturity and the calm in which Holstein plays with. He just brushes Bradley off and comfortable and calm finds Des Reed for the touchdown.
Pat Narduzzi said to us yesterday that last year our quarterback play was atrocious. It's been better this year.
I mean, he just flicked him away like he was a fly or a tick or something. He just moves up in the pocket, calm, and finds Des Reed. That's the second touchdown for Des Reed today, getting lost in the coverage. It's been a mismatch. West Virginia is trying to figure out how do they keep eyes on Des Reed. Is it the linebackers? Will it be a safety? Des Reed what did I ask him in the meeting? I said, Des, last week they had a linebacker on you in coverage. He said, yeah, once I knew that it was man-to-man, he was just like, it's over, it's done. So he had the big play last week in the receiving game, and he doubles down again this week with 2 receiving touchdowns.
Eli Holstein said to us there was a practice back in the spring where they started at their own 1, and Des Reed took an inside zone, ran it 99 yards, and capped his touchdown with a front flip into the end zone. And Eli Holstein said to us at that point, we all knew who Des Reed was.
Well, it didn't count because he got a penalty.
Because of the front flip.
Because of the front flip. Coach said, hey, we called a penalty because you can't be flipping in the end zone, but they knew they have something in Des Reed.
West Virginia at the 25. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week. Each year, it celebrates great teachers across the country who've inspired so many of us. And you can nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Neil Brown, the son of a high school principal, and his team now down by 3 midway through the second quarter. And Garrett Green operates the offense for the Mountaineers. C.J. Donaldson is the running back. Traylon Davis in motion. Fake the screen, look right side, and risky throw incomplete in the direction of Donaldson. P.J. O'Brien, the safety in the area.
Drive starters. So West Virginia has started drives by doing what? Handing the ball off, kind of lull you to sleep, and then they hit you with the big play. That time they started the drive off with a naked bootleg, and it didn't fool anybody on Pitt. So the defense for Pitt changing up their look on first down.
A lot of bootlegs from West Virginia. Randy Bates said that to us yesterday. He'd be ready for it if the Mountaineers stuck with their tendencies. Pre-snap movement. And who jumped first, Taylor or Nate Matlack? They both were ready for the flag before it came in.
Well, do they call this on the defense? Because that's just a regular motion. But you remember the emphasis in college football this year is a non-football type movement to draw the defense off.
Offside, number 2. Defense was unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So they're ruling that was a common move. That was not an uncommon move. All the tight end does is just back up and get ready to motion. So that's a common football move. Whereas, to your point, Matlock just jumps off sides.
Well, and you see Taylor does it again, backing off the line. And now C.J. Donaldson on second down and 5 has a first down out to the 36.
But we've seen that call a couple times so far this year, where you get players who do a quick, abrupt move, and it throws the defense off, and the defense jumps offside. So the officials have made sure they called it, but I didn't see anything in that previous motion that should have said an uncommon football motion play.
And so West Virginia's on the move. Fresh set of downs for Garrett Green. Inside of 7 to go in the second quarter in the backyard brawl. Green pulls it, floats one downfield into coverage and incomplete. Hudson Clement in the area, and Javon McIntyre, the safety on the back end for Pitt.
Yeah, that's a nice job by McIntyre and Gandy, number 10 in the corner. So he's riding Clement on the outside. He's forcing and pushing him into where the safety is. So sometimes you don't get enough credit as a corner for pushing your guy into the help. That's what he did on that one, Gandy. And that's why the ball was an errant throw, because there was nowhere for Green to fit that ball in.
Neil Brown last year took over play calling duties again. We saw him with the walkie-talkie ahead of second down. Donaldson breaks away from Braylon Lovelace, and C.J. Donaldson rumbles for a first down to midfield.
I'm never surprised when he goes north and south. You give him a crease, that's 240 pounds coming at you. Number 0, Lovelace, he's right there in the hole. And he runs right through the arm tackle, does Donaldson.
It's Donaldson again. Gets stood up this time. Coaching staff for West Virginia thinks Donaldson is healthy and confident. Maybe as much as he's ever been, but certainly way more than he was last year. A season that ended injury with a shoulder surgery.
Yeah, look, this year he's still splitting time. So he comes out the game right now, but he's splitting time with Jaheim White. But when he's rolling, he is rolling. But last week had 125. Last year against Pitt was 102. He is a downhill successful runner, and I just love what he's done in the passing game as well. He's really worked on his pass blocking. Definitely wants more credit for that.
He says he's co-partners with White, who's in the game. Get rid of it quickly, and it's Traylon Davis wrapped up immediately by Javon McIntyre. Third down and 10.
Film study. That's a film study play. McIntyre was right there. He's waiting for Davis to catch the football. So we talked about the bootlegs and waggles. Pitt has been all over it. And now you get the 3rd and long right here at the 50-yard line. I wonder how does Pitt play this defensively? But for West Virginia, as you approach the end of the half, that middle 4 that they talk about, can they kind of cut this in half, maybe get that 4-down territory?
Donaldson back in for pass pro. Pressure comes. Garrett Green stands in, and he floats it and picked off. Bruce Brookins, the interception, and Pitt's got a takeaway.
Moving down the field is an interception. First down, Pitt.
The redshirt freshman safety from right here in Pittsburgh, playing in his first backyard brawl.
I want you to watch right here. Traylon Ray. He's going to run this route, and he's open right now.
and Green's trying to throw it to him. He wants him to just stop, and he doesn't. And so because of Ray not looking back at the quarterback, Green has to hold on to it. By the time Ray looks back, the ball floats, and it's intercepted. And that's the play that I was talking about, Mike. That's not on the quarterback. That's on the receiver.
Derek Davis on the ground for a couple of yards. His first carry. Anthony Wilson the stop. You saw Justin Robinson, another wideout in the vicinity as well for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Brookings is just playing his safety spot, so he's just making sure nobody beats him deep. But Ray is coming across in the middle of the field. He never looked back at the quarterback. Green was ready to unleash it because nobody from Pitt was near him, but he kept going in the route, and he ran himself into danger, and that forced the interception.
So Pitt's got the lead and the football back headed toward halftime. And Holstein takes off, and then he ducks down shy of the 35. Gets 3 yards, and it's 3rd down and 5. And we know what the Pitt celebration is after turnovers on the sideline.
Oh, welcome back, college football. I miss those celebrations on the sideline when the defensive guys get one.
So Brookins the takeaway. Pitt with the football, ticking toward 3 minutes to go until halftime for Eli Holstein and the Panthers. They need 4. Holstein got it. Poppy Williams the first down to the 40.
Nice return route by Williams. He takes to the outside, comes back in, ball delivered, first down.
Flag flies and will blow it dead.
I think you got illegal formation.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 9, offense. Number 9 was never set, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So this is the dilemma that they're in, because once that clock goes under 4 minutes, they go into 4-minute offense, which is sort of a keep away. And this is an offense that wants to do what, Mike? They want to go up tempo. They want to go fast, fast, fast. Now Pitt needs to go slow, slow, slow. They don't want to score and get this ball back to West Virginia and let them have an opportunity to score. This is one of those situations that me and you, we always talk about, right? The 2-for-1. They can get a score here, and then in the second half, to receive the football. So they want to make sure they keep the ball away from West Virginia.
By the way, it's on Branson Taylor back in at left tackle. Boy, here's a pitch that nearly went awry to Kenny Johnson. TJ Jackson was right there and nearly had an interception.
Yeah, TJ Jackson, Ty French, both these guys are just flying off the ball. French, he actually just doesn't even see it. French was just doing his job. He was the guy that should have intercepted it. He didn't even look at the quarterback. As we get to the 2-minute timeout.
Crisis averted for Kenny Johnson and Pitt, managing this scenario up by 3, 2 to go in the first half against West Virginia. Kevin, thank you. 2nd down and long, and Kanate Mumfield hauls in the pass from a scrambling Eli Holstein, and it picks up 20 to get 3rd down and 1. Wow.
And right back on the football. It surprised me how quickly they were able to get that play. They're right back on the ball.
And trying to move the sticks. Inside of 2 to go in the first half. Holstein got it free and incomplete. 4th down.
That was an interesting call, Mike. That was 3rd and 1. Now you've got 2 timeouts, but you're want to force maybe a timeout of West Virginia, because now you're 4th and 1 and the ball's on your side of the 50. This is a decision right here. What does Coach Narduzzi do? How much faith does Coach Narduzzi have in his team? This is a gutsy call right here, Mike. I would have punted it. I wondered if they just hold it and try to draw West Virginia off sides.
And we'll see if they do snap it. They do. It's Johnson, nowhere to go, and he's stacked up. And West Virginia gets the turnover on downs. Tyron Bradley right there on Kenny Johnson, and Pitt's had some interesting play calls here.
Yeah, I didn't like the call there because that's not who they are. I would have lined up and run the football one time, or a run pass option, but they tried to trick West Virginia, who just played their base defense
and just made a terrific disciplined play. That play just looked out of sorts, out of whack the entire time, even when they lined up. I think the players were like, are we really doing this on our side of the 50-yard line? That's a big mistake there by Pitt.
And now Garrett Green and the Mountaineers have it in midfield. All 3 timeouts and a $127 to work with, down by 3, headed to halftime. Green steps up with a juke, and Garrett Green takes it to the 40. There's a flag back near the line of scrimmage.
I think that they get a hold. I didn't get the number. I think I saw 4.
Holding, number 55. Offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Tomas Remak, the left guard.
He was.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 20 seconds.
It's one of those plays that you didn't really need. He's on the left side, and Green is already gone. I don't think that the defender had a chance to even get there. Nick James, number 11. But it backs West Virginia up.
We'll see what Neil Brown's play call is here on first down and 20. Still plenty of time to work with. Conservative with a quarterback draw again, and Green gets a lot of it back and more. Garrett Green with a first down to the 35 before Kyle Lewis stopped him after 23.
And great blocking by his center and his running back. Those are the guys that made the play. Watch the center and watch the running back. They get out front first. They get a nice couple seals, and you see the quarterback Green sweep through right between his guys for the first down.
And now Jaheim White, who had one of those blocks. He takes it for 4 yards to the 31.
They ran the same play, right? They got a holding call, backed up. You're like, okay, what are they going to call? They go right back to the well. They go right back to the play. And Green, using his legs on this drive, trying to create some points for his offense.
Pressure comes. Green takes off again, and Rasheem Biles stacks him up. It's a loss of a half a yard with 35 seconds to go.
Has called their first charge timeout of the first half. 30 seconds in length.
So third down coming up. Hey, kickoff NFL Week 2 with the Sunday NFL Countdown crew at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And on Monday Night Football, it's Falcons and the Eagles. 8 Eastern over on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus with Peyton and Eli back here on ESPN 2 and also on ESPN Plus.
Oh, man, Week 1 was fun in the NFL. It was great to have the NFL back. Monday Night Football was fun. There goes a former Eagle right there, Jeremiah Trotter. His son right behind him over there, sitting down on the bench for a little bit. Had a big play already. Josiah Trotter.
Yeah, the Eagles with a good start to their season. Saquon Barkley with 3 touchdowns in Kellen Moore's offense.
3 touchdowns in 1 game. That's a debut. That's a debut right there for Saquon Barkley. But the big thing here is third down. Garrett Green's got to make a play for his offense. If they want to get into the end zone, Garrett Green's got to make a play here.
Third down and 6. Green rolls out, throws on the run to Gallagher, and appears to be short. Gallagher shy of the 25. Stood up by Javon McIntyre, and it's fourth down.
A physical tackle by McIntyre. That was a physical tackle. I love the way McIntyre came downhill, head across.
Second charge timeout.
That's what you teach as a defensive coach. Head across. That does not allow Gallagher to turn upfield and get that extra yard. He denied that extra yard, which forced West Virginia to call the timeout. And I think that they probably kicked, but coming from downhill, watch from space, watch 7. 7 comes in, head across, boom. You wrap up. It's a nice little tackle there to force the decision from West Virginia right here on fourth down.
Javon McIntyre, by the way, last week, he was involved in the biggest post-game ball odyssey after that comeback win since Doug Minkavich. Cincinnati was trying to swat that thing away from him. McIntyre makes the stop here. It's fourth down, and what is, you think, the decision coming here? Just send out Mike Hayes?
Yeah, field goal. And I don't think that you mess around. If there is points to be made here, you go out and get those points. So put it on your kicker to tie this football game up and hopefully get you into halftime, knotted at 17.
6th-year senior who started his career at Georgia State. This year he's 2 for 2, both of those in week 1. This is from 44 for the South Carolina native, who will get iced.
It's called their second charge timeout of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Timeouts don't roll over, so why not use them? All right, Pitt and Coach Narduzzi, they call a timeout, put a little pressure on the kicker.
In this 107th edition of the Backyard Brawl. Let's go back into the vault to 1982.
Oh,
you
man,
got number
look at
2
that
Pitt, number 14 West Virginia. Dan Marino sealed the Panthers' win, a 6-yard touchdown pass with about 3.5 to go, and Pitt wins it 16-13.
See all that hair coming out in the back of that helmet from Dan Marino? Dan Marino, man, one of the great quarterbacks in NFL history. There he is, number 13. One of the best throwers of the football in NFL history. Everyone always says, oh, man, did you ever see Dan Marino throw? I said, no, I mean, I've watched him. I said, man, it was a sight to see. All right.
Just one chapter of this great rivalry. And now Mike Hayes, after the timeout from 44. Hayes with the kick on its way. And Mike Hayes drills it. And this game's tied at 17. Well, this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Yeah, you think about the history of this rivalry and all the twists and turns through the years. I mean, there was the garbage game. There was Johnny Majors, who once hatched a plan for his Pitt team, trying to stop West Virginia's star wide receiver, Danny Buggs. So what did he do? He had his DBs install fly swatters on the insides of the tops of their helmets to kill bugs. You see it all in the Backyard Brawl.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it's been fun. We had a nice excursion on our way getting into this game, just how the fans on both sides, they got here early. Seeing both bands, though. We've seen the West Virginia band is here. Obviously, the Pitt band is here. This has truly been a spectacle. My first time experiencing the Backyard Brawl.
3rd year in the rebirth after an 11-year hiatus. We've had tight games throughout. 2 years ago at halftime, it was 10-10. Last year at halftime, West Virginia led 7-6, and here, in 21 seconds to go until halftime, 17-all.
Is anybody at the baseball game down the street?
It looks sparse, with all due respect.
It was a Pittsburgh Pirates game going on, but nobody was dressed in their Pirates gear, I'll tell you that.
Hayes will chip this one short, and Pitt will take it out across the 35-yard line with 15 seconds to go until halftime.
So Pitt gets the ball to start the second half. I would assume that they take a knee here, run this clock out, and make some adjustments at halftime. I think both teams feel pretty comfortable going in at halftime, tied up at 17. And there'll be some adjustments made on both sides. I think West Virginia defensively, they just got to keep eyes on Desmond Reed at all times. He's been the one that's really hurt the West Virginia defense. And on the opposite side for Pitt, they just kind of hurt themselves a little bit. Now, the big play has been there, but hurt themselves defensively. And the tight end, Cole Taylor's having a big game for West Virginia offensively.
And then Pat Narduzzi got aggressive on that last 4th down.
Play clock operator, please reset the play clock to 25 seconds, please. Thank you.
And they will reset the play clock in what has been a sloppy and stop and start second quarter. .15 seconds on the clock. And Pitt ready to snap it. And Holstein's going to the air. He's under pressure and goes down. T.J. Jackson the sack. And that could have been worse for Pitt than just the sack.
Yeah, because Jackson was raking at that football. T.J. Jackson, number 11, has already got 1 sack on the year. And so you put your quarterback in a situation that could have been devastating.
Pitt playing with some fire. They'll get it to start the second half with the score at the break, 17-all. Let's get you to the studio for the Principal Financial Group halftime report with Kevin Connors and Trevor Manage. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Great day to catch the backyard brawl from wherever, even outside Acrisure Stadium, as we welcome you back. Kurt Morrison, Mike Monaco with you upstairs. Don Davenport down on the field, and when you look at the statistics, they're about as even as it gets, and that's how the first half in this brawl played out.
Yeah, it was pretty evenly matched. Both sides had their good, they had their bad, but a pretty clean game overall. I love the way the intensity of this game has been. It's been a bend, don't break on both sides, but I love that both teams went in at halftime at even, but you look at the time of possession is right there, like pretty much even. The plays are pretty much even. The rushing yards are a little bit distorted. Only a couple mistakes. The one interception from the West Virginia side, and then the turnover on downs, that 4th and 1 right near midfield for Pittsburgh. Those are the only two mistakes I saw really on both sides. Been a pretty clean game otherwise.
And that cracked the door open for Mike Hayes in West Virginia to tie this thing up in an all-important game on both sides. His short kickoff is handled at the 10 by Kenny Johnson, and he runs it out to the 25, stays on his feet, and Kenny Johnson slips down at the 34. There's a penalty marker down on the field.
Offside. Kicking team, number 4. 5-yard penalty be added to the end of the run. First down.
All right, so that's a couple offsides calls on kickoffs. And so it'll add to the field position for Eli Holstein and Pitt to start. What do you think of their offense under the new offensive coordinator, Kate Bell?
Well, I thought they were able to get some things going early on. They had a nice little script, and their script early on seemed to be effective. Then the game slowed down a little bit.
Des Reed bottled up for a loss. He only rushed it 6 times for 15 yards in the first half, but he did have a couple of receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he was the major factor in the first half, Mike, because it was his receiving touchdowns. It was getting lost late in the down, and Holstein just going through his progressions, finding a check down to Reed, got a couple scores.
The redshirt freshman in his 3rd collegiate start after transferring in from Alabama. Eli Holstein. Pocket collapses. Holstein slipped away and gets swung down by Trey Lathan. And it's a loss of 1, and it brings up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, late in the down situations, that's where Pitt has been great, and that's where West Virginia has got to tighten up in this second half. That's a nice job at the end of that play, making Holstein go down to the ground.
And now TJ Jackson is getting attended to. 5th-year senior Troy transfer, who Neil Brown thinks has been their most productive defensive alignment through a couple of weeks. And remember, on the D-line, they're already without honorable mention Big 12 D-tackle last year, Eddie Vesterinen, suffered a knee injury last week in the 2nd quarter. And Neil Brown said to us, Vesterinen's going to miss at least a couple of weeks. Said later in the week he could redshirt if he has to this year. So it's thinning a little bit on the interior of the defensive line for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, that's one of their areas of concern too. Like you mentioned, they want to be able to have guys rotate in. They don't just have a front line. They've had a little bit of a nice little depth there. So losing Vesterinen is going to be one that could be crucial for them this season.
Jackson off the field. We saw Sonny Redwood for West Virginia. A 3rd sack for the Mountaineers, who bring 4. Holstein across the middle, incomplete. Not on the same page with Poppy Williams, and Pitt has the punt.
Yeah, that's just a miscommunication, and Holstein, he looks like it. I think he expected the receiver to go to the green grass, to the area. I talked about it earlier. Holstein likes to throw to areas, and that time just a miscommunication with he and his wide receiver.
So Caleb Junko comes out, experienced redshirt junior, who before last season earned a scholarship after Pitt's 2nd 3-and-out. Preston Fox is back deep, and the Morgantown native signals for the fair catch inside the 15. There's a flag down at the 40. Neil Brown waiting on the word, like everybody.
There is no foul on the play. First down, West Virginia.
Okay.
All right. Well, tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, #1 Georgia will take on Kentucky. So that's coming up later on in a day that has been packed. LSU had a massive comeback against South Carolina in a rabid Columbia.
Yeah, and I think another game earlier, a lot of fans around here looking at Florida State, who was kind of picked to win the ACC this year, suffered another loss. 0-3 the Florida State Seminoles are to start this season.
West Virginia's coming off a 9-win season last year. Lost to Penn State, an FCS win last week. And Garrett Green's first drive of the second half begins inside his own 15 with a play fake and an out pattern and a great catch made on the edge by Traylon Ray, the talented sophomore from Tallahassee.
Yeah, you don't need two hands. If you're Traylon Ray, just grab it with one hand. That's a nice catch. Going out there with the left, bringing it all the way into the body. Traylon Ray.
So second down and 1 for West Virginia. C.J. Donaldson cuts it back, and it's a first down. Done.
Yeah, Mike, you know, it was interesting watching Garrett Green in warm-ups. He was so amped up that several coaches had to come over to him, tapping on his shoulders, settle him down a little bit. Watched him during that first half. He was a completely different quarterback. I felt he settled in. Head coach Neil Brown told me at the break he felt that too, but he needs him to be more accurate here in this second half. He said that happens, you can expect some explosive and big plays from this offense.
Well, I think a lot that had to do with it is because they started running the football effectively with C.J. Donaldson, and also the quarterback run up the middle. I know they didn't want to run him a lot, but it was those quarterback runs that really ignited the offense at the end of the second half.
Donaldson runs it left side, and Brandon George meets him. And remember, for Garrett Green as well, in this game last year, it was their 6th offensive snap when he hurt his right ankle. He told us he couldn't put any weight on it. They shot him up back in the locker room. He tried to test it out, retaped it, couldn't go. Now he's back into this rivalry, and he's taking a shot downfield and incomplete, intended for Preston Fox. Ryland Gandy in coverage, third down.
And they were just taking a shot on that one. That was just tremendous coverage by Gandy. And Gandy's letting that West Virginia sideline know all about it. Hey, don't test me. Don't throw that on me. But that's just great coverage. And Green didn't really have a window to throw that ball in. So they're just trying to back these safeties and corners up for Pittsburgh. And hopefully that can open up the run later as this half continues to go by.
As it gets louder here inside a sold-out Acrisure Stadium. Third down and 9 for West Virginia. Pitt showing pressure. They bring 4. It's a screen to the tight end, Cole Taylor. And Taylor is not going to get there. Stood up by Cruz Brookins, who had a first half interception, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Donovan McMillan comes in for the cleanup. So he stood up by Brookins, and then McMillan came in for the cleanup. That's good team defense. That's good team tackling. One guy's not going to bring down Taylor, but it's everybody coming in to hold him short of the first down. That's a great job on a 3-and-out to start this second half for Pitt.
So a couple stops defensively on each side to begin the second half, and Ollie Stroud comes out again to boot it away for the Mountaineers. Kenny Johnson's back deep. Stroud's got time, and Stroud will take off for the Brand. It's a first down. A dozen yards on 4th down out of the punt formation from the Australian punter, Ollie Straw.
For the Brand indeed. So Straw has the football, and he's just looking. And the entire Pitt return team, they take off. And he just has to run a couple yards for the first down. That's a great call from Neil Brown. That's what a rivalry game is all about. Finding ways to shift the momentum. Instead of the 3-and-out, they're going to retain possession because the punt return team from Pitt took off and no one had their eyes on Straw with a gain for a first down.
And how about the full circle moment for him? Last year against Pitt, he had a punt blocked, caused an injury. He had off-season knee surgery, and now he moves the sticks and keeps West Virginia with the football. They go on the ground. Back with it to Jaheim White for 4 yards.
I want you to look the entire punt return team for Pitt. Just watch this group right here. Watch, that's the group to watch. Because when the ball snapped, they all just sit there and everybody retreats. They engage with their blockers, but guess what? No one's rushing to try to block the punt, or no one's even going to Straw, who's got the football. So he's waiting, wait, nobody's gonna pick me up. I'll casually, because he did it casually, ran for a first down.
Not in a hurry, and that sideline is all smiles looking at Ollie Straw. Play fake, Green plants. Green downfield, has Clement who holds it in! Touchdown! 51 yards to Hudson Clement. There is a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. And is it coming back for holding?
I'll tell you this, Isaiah Neal is jumping up and down as if this ball is coming back.
Holding, number 74, offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That's the stud left tackle, a possible first-round pick, Wyatt Milam.
Yeah, Milam's right here. That's the guy, 74. And I didn't see at first, but Mike, I don't know. I don't see a hold there. I see a player going down to the ground, losing its footing. I don't know if that play rises to holding. That was a terrific block, I thought, from Wyatt Milam, but to hang in there was Garrett Green and throw his best ball of the day.
Tried that angle against Nate Matlack.
I think the second angle, that angle probably a little bit better. See the grab of the jersey and pull down.
And this is batted down by Jimmy Scott as they tried to set up a quick one there to Preston Fox. So just like that, it's now third down for West Virginia.
Going on the field, incomplete forward pass. Third down.
Yeah, Mike, that initial angle, I didn't see a hold. That second angle, a little bit better. Seeing the right arm on that shoulder pad bring him down to the ground. Then you get the incompletion, and what seemed to be a drive that was going in the right direction with the fourth down conversion now turned into 3rd and 16. And can this West Virginia offense keep moving on this drive?
Conservative on the ground to C.J. Donaldson, and he gets wrapped up by Kyle Lewis. 5 yards, and it's 4th down and long, and the punt team will come out for the Mountaineers again.
And I mentioned a little bit earlier about the Pittsburgh Pirates game down the street. Well, the entire coaching staff for Pitt on the sideline were all giving the safe sign, saying safe like that they were an umpire, because they're telling punt safe, meaning everyone on the punt return team, keep your eyes on Ollie Straw, the punter this time.
It's going to be a spy situation here on Ollie Straw, who has it blocked! Bounces inside the 30, picked up by Pitt for a touchdown for Brandon George! Maverick Gracio blocks the punt, and the 6th-year senior Brandon George gives Pitt the lead.
No one touches him. He's just as shocked as we are. They call punt safe, and Gracio just comes off the edge. I think he was surprised that no one touched him. And he goes in for the block. Game-changing plays and legendary moments just happened.
Mav, what you got? Brandon George picks it up after Maverick Gracio etches his name into the backyard brawl.
What you think? Maverick with the block, scoop, Top Gun-ish. Mountaineers down 7.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Sling. They celebrate in the Panther Pit, and on the other side, Neil Brown is irate about something on that West Virginia sideline. The block punt, return for a touchdown. Pitt's got the lead. Traylon Ray ducks down right around the 20. And what a swing in this game, in this rivalry. And every punt, you got to be locked in and watch what's going to happen out there.
Yeah, you go from the fake punt that kept the drive alive and then have the block punt return for a touchdown. Just the emotions of this football game, the rivalry, right? We saw it in the first half. Both teams played pretty evenly, and you know that who was going to be the team to make a mistake in the second half. And so far, it's Pitt capitalizing on really the first mistake in this second half from West Virginia.
There are a pair of Panthers who are down on the field right now being tended to. We'll step aside and we'll check on them both when we come back to Pittsburgh.
ESPN College Football presented by Sling is brought to you by Verbo Private Vacation Rentals. Relax, you booked a Verbo.
Warner and Majors and Bowden and Nealon, the legendary names as coaches in this rivalry. We were talking with Pat Narduzzi yesterday. He said since Sunday, he has made his coaches this year lock the doors in their facility, which of course they share with the Steelers, who have 3 rookies who played last year at West Virginia. Pat Narduzzi, paranoia setting in, especially for the backyard brawl.
Yeah. Leave no stone unturned, Coach Narduzzi. He knows what this game is all about. It's not just one day. This can lead to 365 days of bragging rights until they play again.
By the way, Rashad Battle jogged off. Josh McCarty limped off. And Garrett Green kept it, got a yard, met by Braylon Lovelace.
So how do they establish the running game? Still plenty of time left. We're still at 8 minutes left pretty much in the third quarter. So you can still run your offense. Don't feel as if you've got to have the big play. What Garrett Green has done a good job of is using his legs, using the run game, and playing off of that. You got to force the play action, and the only way it works is when you're running the football effectively.
It's been 8 carries for C.J. Donaldson, 9 for Jaheim White. This is on the ground here, and White is bottled up. Ran into Jimmy Scott, just the yard, and it's third down, West Virginia.
Great discipline by Jimmy Scott. He attacks the quarterback first and then fell back in to the run play.
Mountaineers go up tempo. Garrett Green to the air, down the sideline, hauled in by Jaden Bray. His first catch of the ball game. Now there is a flag back down near the line of scrimmage.
Now I wonder that Pitt...
Illegal substitution. Defense, the 12th player did not get off the field. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So what happened was West Virginia went fast. They never go fast. It's a slow offense. They go fast, and they caught Pitt with too many men on the field. Illegal substitution. And that's how you go out and capitalize on it. You get the big play to Jaden Bray on the outside, just his second catch of the year. So that's a big play for West Virginia because they changed the tempo. They went tempo on the tempo team.
And the Oklahoma State transfer Jaden Bray hauled it in. I mentioned the 2 grabs. They've each been for 44 yards these last 2 weeks. Pressure comes. Green takes off. Jukes away from Lewis. And Garrett Green keeps Lewis on his heels to the 20.
The legs of Green. I'm going to keep saying it. That's the best offensive weapon for West Virginia is Garrett Green's legs because he keeps putting pressure on the defense. They're going to have to commit an extra player, a spy, someone that can stand and keep their eyes on Garrett Green, which can help out the coverage, and now you can get big plays to the outside. But if Garrett Green continues to make those type of plays, it's so demoralizing for a defense to have to keep an extra player in there to keep him in the pocket.
And now Neil Brown's offense in the red zone. Green, screen, Preston Fox has a first down. first down and goal, a dozen yards to the trusty fifth-year senior from Morgantown.
You get the initial block from Gallagher, 24, and then you get the big tackle, Milam. Milam gets out there first. And so you've got a big play inside the red zone.
And now Kyle Lewis, stud linebacker, the redshirt sophomore, is seated, and he's getting tended to. With West Virginia on the move, last 3 plays have gone 44 yards, 15 yards, and then 12 there to Preston Fox.
Yeah, those are explosives. To me, anytime you get a play 10 yards or more, that's an explosive play. And now you've got a defense on their heels in Pitt. They want to come after you. They want to get to the quarterback. But changing the style up a little bit is West Virginia. You get the initial block by Gallagher, number 24. Milam just has to get in the way. Remember, he's 6'6", 317, so he's kind of like a roadblock. You got to get around the roadblock to go make a play on the receiver.
You saw Lewis get up and immediately signaled toward the sideline and also shook out his right hand. Pat Narduzzi says this guy plays reckless. Says, I don't ever want hesitators out on the field. And there was a time last week where they were just going through the linebacker rotation and Lewis came out and Pat Narduzzi yelled on the sideline and said, I want him playing every single snap. Well, he's got to come off here.
Well, that's earlier in the season. You get rotations. You get guys playing in different spots. And now you tighten up that rotation when you get into the season.
First down and goal with West Virginia trying to tie it. 5 wide. Jaheim White, the running back, goes into motion. Saddles up beside Garrett Green. White off the left side. Cuts it back. And he zigzags his way to the 4.
I love what West Virginia did. They put the bunch to the field and they made Pitt overload to that side. They ran back to the opposite side, but the vision of Jaheim White gets you down inside the 5. And now inside the 5-yard line, that's where you get the switching of the running backs. Okay, now you get big number 4, C.J. Donaldson in. So if I'm Pitt, I'm thinking of something downhill in the run game or keeping an eye on Cole Taylor to tie it in the slot.
You've been begging for north-south in the run game. And here it is, Donaldson in for a touchdown. Right up the middle. And the Mountaineers an extra point from tying this in the 3rd. You've been clamoring for that. Don't go east-west with C.J. Donaldson at 238 pounds.
Trust me, it's not rocket science. I've got a 238-pound running back, and he's lined up in the backfield. I want to see him go north and south. Inside the 5-yard line, he's the guy. And he scoots right into the end zone, almost untouched.
And he's trying to eat here again in the backyard brawl. A rivalry he has been ultra productive in. Couple touchdowns today for C.J. Donaldson.
You talk about a response, you need to respond. Pitt gets their block with a score, but Donaldson right back, and we're knotted at 24 in Pittsburgh.
How do you feel about West Virginia? Can you say something nice about them?
Not really. Other than there's too many of their fans here today, and they need to go home.
I can't. I honestly can't say a single nice thing about them.
I can't say anything nice about West Virginia. 13-9, first thing that comes to mind.
So that was the challenge. Can you say anything nice about the other team and their fan base? And the answer is no. And Eli Holstein, Pitt's quarterback, told us it's real hatred in this rivalry for a guy who went to Alabama last year, grew up around LSU. He said, this is different than even the SEC in terms of rivalries. Kenny Johnson runs it out to the 25. Let's go to the studio and check in with Kevin Connors.
Back on 1, Hollis.
All right, Kevin, so the questions mount in Gainesville.
Florida State and Florida, would you ever guess? Struggling.
Meantime, Pitt's got the football back. 24-all here in Pittsburgh. Aubrey Burks makes the stop on Des Reed inside of 5 to go in the third quarter. Like Monaco, Kirk Morrison, Don Davenport, our entire crew behind the scenes. Pitt went 3 and out on its last drive. Here's Des Reed with a seam up the middle. And Des Reed finishes a run to the 40. Thought he was still on his feet, but they'll mark him down. Ran into Jaheim Joseph for a dozen.
How powerful is Des Reed? They list him at 5'8", 175, but he plays so much bigger. He's a downhill runner. He said he can squat almost, what, 600 pounds? He told us, Mike, he is built, especially the lower halves. That's all he's done since he was little, was get under the squat rack.
Eli Holstein under pressure and sacked. Hammond Russell the fourth with the takedown for a loss of 7.
Nice job by Russell. It was just a little twist game. And you get this all the way around on the twist game. Just watch 99 in the middle. Russell comes all the way around, ride the hump. You ever see the defensive linemen, they run those hoops? That's why you run the hoops. You try to get to the outside and get skinny. He got all the way around the hoop and is able to bring the whole quarterback Holstein down.
Rides the hump to a 4th sack for the Mountaineers. Holstein, sideline shot for Poppy Williams and out of his reach. Now it's 3rd down and long, and the momentum mounting for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, Aubrey Burks did a nice job of guarding the sideline there. So what he did was he played the receiver to get to the out of bounds. So if the receiver doesn't give enough space, that ball sailed. There was just not enough room for Holstein to fit that one in there. And what looked to be a promising drive now backed up 3rd and 17.
Let's see how aggressive or perhaps conservative Cade Bell and the Panthers are here. Play fake. Holstein is dropped. T.J. Jackson and Tyron Bradley combine on a 5th West Virginia sack. 4th down.
T.J. Jackson it's a double team. He splits the double team. He's right in the middle. Just split that double team. When you're splitting the 2 guys to go get a sack, that's effort. That's want to. 3rd and 17, probably not going to get there. Don't tell that to T.J. Jackson fighting his way to another sack.
Again, the Troy transfer is off to a great start with his new team. Preston Fox takes it from the 29, and he wiggles out past the 40. Well, Noche UFC is tonight at the Sphere in Las Vegas. The UFC 306 main card begins at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view, with the prelims at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to espnplus.com/PPV.
Illegal formation. Not enough players on the line of scrimmage on the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st down.
So the field position gets even better for West Virginia, and Garrett Green and the Mountaineers with their sights set on taking the lead.
Yeah, and I think watch this play, right? You just had a nice stop defensively, a couple sacks. You got momentum right now, and you're in that shot zone I always talk about, right? In between the 40s. This is where the big plays try to get the ball down the field, catch the defense on its heels. If I'm Pitt, I'm playing a little cover 2 defense, keeping everything in front of me. I'm expecting a shot play down the field from West Virginia.
Jaden Bray and Hudson Clement, a speedster, are the wideouts for Garrett Green. They hand it off instead, and it's Jaheim White. Runs into Donovan McMillan at the 50, and the ball came out at the end. And what's the signal?
Yeah, it goes out of bounds. Almost critical play. McMillan snatched that ball out. It's the end of the play. Watch the right arm of McMillan. He's raking at the football.
Yeah, it's out.
And it's out. But Elliott Donald not able to recover the ball before it goes out of bounds.
Elliott Donald, the nephew of Aaron Donald. Elliott, a redshirt junior and a native of Pittsburgh. Four-man rush, and Green eludes Metlack. Green takes off with green grass in front of him and gets bumped out of bounds at the 41 with a first down. Run out by Kyle Lewis, and then Green's got something to say to the Pitt sideline. And here comes the chippiness in the backyard brawl.
Yeah, I think he's probably saying, y'all better go get a spy. You better get an extra defender, because since the end of the second quarter, in the early parts of this third quarter, it's been the escapability, it's been the legs of Garrett Green that has really got this offense going, getting those positive plays and forcing Pitt to either have to put an extra defender in the box, because Garrett Green has been getting positive yards, positive plays using his legs.
Kyle Lewis was hopeful not to get the flag. He didn't get it. First down from the 41. C.J. Donaldson tried to cut it upfield, and he gets dropped by Rasheem Biles.
Yeah, I love C.J. Donaldson, the running back, but it's so difficult when he goes east and west that they have so many guys there. He's not a quick twitch guy. He's a downhill runner. So he stopped in the backfield.
Up tempo on second down and long with the pressure coming. Green kept his footing and then fired it at Donaldson. So it's no intentional grounding. Third down.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The quarterback's knee was still up prior to the pass being released, and number 4 was in the area. Incomplete pass, third down.
This experience. This is a fifth-year senior who's been in some critical moments, tough moments, and yet finds a way to get this ball off what could have been a huge play for Pittsburgh defensively. The experience of the fifth-year senior staying off the ground and locating someone in the vicinity to keep this as a 3rd and 12.
Donaldson up the middle, and he crashes down at the 36. Rasheem Biles the stop. It's 4th down. For now, the offense remains on the field for Neil Brown.
Yeah, I think you're in a situation where you kind of want to go for it here. Or you have a time to think about it. Let this clock roll down. Go to the sideline and talk about it. So we'll have a critical 4th down to start the 4th quarter with the game tied. This is just what we asked for, Mike. In the backyard brawl, baby. This is what we asked for. We're getting it. These two teams are delivering.
Don't even think about going anywhere. The 107th backyard brawl is tied with a big 4th down coming up as we go to the 4th. Maverick Gracio has entered the rivalry. George the Tut tied.
Playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Start of the 4th quarter at a sold-out Acrisure Stadium ahead of a huge 4th down and 5 as West Virginia's offense stays on the field.
And if I'm Pitt, public enemy number 1 is number 6 in white, Garrett Green, the quarterback. You have to have a spy on the quarterback here on 4th down.
Pressure comes. Green fires to Traylon Ray. And he hangs on to it.
Completed pass. First down, West Virginia.
On 4th down, Traylon Ray hangs on and comes through for West Virginia.
Unfazed in the moment, right? This is what I call being in pressure moments as Garrett Green. This is the experience of the 5th-year senior. Being able to stand in the pocket and deliver a strike to Traylon Ray for the first down on 4th and 5.
And a bobble on the back for Traylon Ray keeps West Virginia in motion. From the 29. Green, quarterback run, and he gets wrapped up immediately. Ran into Sincere Edwards, a loss of 1.
The true freshman making the play in the critical moment. And he's over there shaking his head. He's over at the bottom of the screen. He actually defeats the blocker and was able to get the left hand and extend and grab a piece of jersey. Coaches, defensive coaches say it all the time. If you can't get there, grab cloth, grab something. Look at the jersey still messed up of Garrett Green from Sincere Edwards just making a play.
High upside true freshman out of Orlando. Pre-snap movement. Green with a free play takes a shot to the end zone and incomplete in the direction of Hudson Clement.
I think it was Donald who jumped off sides initially. 94 on defense. I think they get him in the neutral zone, which pulled the West Virginia offensive line off.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, number 94, defense. Holding, number 4, offense. Falls offset, second down.
C.J. Donaldson cannot believe that he gets tagged for holding there. You could hear him.
It bailed out a mistake on the Pitt side, but you get Donaldson in the play ensuing, and all he's doing is just trying to keep the defender off of his quarterback. Matlack, who was coming in trying to sack Green.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 13:36.
And a physical, as you would expect, backyard brawl. C.J. Donaldson said to us, it's self-explanatory in the title.
Correction, 13:26 on the game clock.
Said it's a brawl for 4 quarters. See the penalties has led to a very chatty game down on the field. Second down and long. Green on the rollout, takes off with his legs. And Green gets to the edge, bumped out of bounds and draws a late penalty on Brandon George. Kyle Lewis had a borderline one earlier. Brandon George not so fortunate here.
Yeah, and I think George is trying to hold off. He's trying to hold off, and just the extension of the hands, the push
after
on
the play,
Brandon George.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds, number 30, defense. That penalty would be enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
And you don't expect that from the guy they call the grandpa, the dad of the defense. The 6-year senior's played in 54 football games, so you know he's been in big moments. And that's one, you've got to know where you're at on the field. You don't expect that from Brandon George. And it wasn't malicious, but you've got to make sure you know where you're at and keep those hands up. Just an extension of the hand and cost this football team 15 yards in a critical point in this game.
So it plants West Virginia in the red zone. Trying to snatch this lead early in the 4th quarter. Into enemy territory in this heated rivalry. West Virginia hasn't led since it was 14-10 in the 2nd quarter. Donaldson up the middle with a cut, and C.J. Donaldson rumbles inside the 5.
You love the wiggle, the move inside and out. He sort of glides when he's got the football in his hands. Watch him glide. He's not really running fast, but he's gliding. He's getting left to right, almost like he's on a down sled in scheme.
He told us he vividly remembers his first carry in this rivalry 2 years ago. He didn't think he was going to play in that game, but his buddy Hammond Russell, a defensive lineman, insisted he would. And Donaldson became a breakout star for the Mountaineers that night. Red zone again. Donaldson stacked up. Rasheed Biles got to him first, and then a swarm of Panthers meet C.J. Donaldson for a loss.
Nice job by Biles. He starts it by Biles, and he starts it in the backfield, and in the caravan, right? The whole group. They come and make the play. 3rd down here.
Into the teeth of the Pitt student section.
Wide side of the field to the left.
Gray and Gallagher, and now Taylor. 11th play of the drive. One-on-one to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Hudson Clement with Rashad Battle in coverage. 4th down.
Battle, and he battled to the end. Rashad was in great position, but he never saw the football. So all he can do is play the hands of the receiver. So when the ball gets to Clement, he's battling to the end, fighting and clawing and scratching to make that incompletion. That's how you fight to the end of the play. That's a nice job by Battle. forcing this field goal.
So Battle gets the stop, forces the field goal try from Mike Hayes. Started his career at Georgia State. Last year, honorable mention, Big 12. From 24, and Mike Hayes gives West Virginia the lead. Early in the fourth quarter in Pittsburgh.
ESPN College Football is presented by Sling. Choose and customize your channel lineup. Sling. Sling lets you do that. And in part by McDonald's.
The backyard brawl has lived up to it once again on both sides. Pitt trying to start 3-0 for the first time since 2020. And West Virginia, who now leads this game off what they said was embarrassment and disappointment in week 1 against Penn State. Well, Neil Brown's group is up by 3 with 11 minutes to go in the fourth. Well, the Taco Bell Live Moss student section is right there. All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Moss student section of the year. And you can download the Taco Bell app to learn more. What did Neil Brown say to us 2 years ago? He's here. He's coming out to record a video message. And the Pitt students were here early. And at the time, he's with his then 7-year-old son, who is then asking him, what does a middle finger in the air mean, Dad?
Oh, man, that's when you learn about a rivalry. They said this rivalry is something that you learn right away.
His older daughters, by the way, they thought it was hilarious. The son had to learn. Pitt starts down by 3, and it's a quick one to the outside to Kenny Johnson from Eli Holstein. Tom, what are you seeing down there on the sideline?
Yeah, guys, you know, wideout Kanate Mumfield told me that his young quarterback is never frantic, ever. Here we are, biggest rivalry game for your school. You're trailing, and he's totally normal on the sideline. Can't tell at all. Coach just talked about his maturity. That's exactly what I'm seeing in a really tight game.
Short of the line to gain, it's third down.
Well, they're going to have to rely on that maturity right here. 3rd and 1. They didn't get it on that second down run. Can they keep these chains moving on 3rd and short?
Reed is blown up in the backfield by Trey Lathan. The redshirt sophomore linebacker makes the stop. It's the 11th TFL for West Virginia's defense.
I love these plays. You get downhill when nobody blocks you. That's like stealing. That's stealing candy from him. Nobody blocked him. He tries to get there. Bartholomew, the tight end, just gets there too late. And seeing and pulling the trigger right away was Lathan for the tackle in the backfield. That's a 3-and-out by this West Virginia defense, standing tall here in the fourth quarter.
Kid back from a fractured tibia and fibula last year makes a big play. Caleb Junko gets it away cleanly, takes a bounce at the 35. Inside of 10 minutes to go. West Virginia is getting the football back, up by 3 on the road.
Back here at the backyard brawl, West Virginia and Pittsburgh, this game changed at the end of the second quarter because West Virginia found more ways to allow their quarterback, Garrett Green, to take off and run. These aren't design runs. It's just the escapability of using the aggressiveness of the Pittsburgh defense and turning it on him. Making saying, you know what, if you guys don't have an extra player in the box, I'm going to take off and run, and that has changed the tide of this game. We saw it right before the second quarter was over, heading to halftime, and it's been that way in the third and especially the fourth quarter. All Garrett Green using his legs.
Who told us he was so disappointed in how week 1 went against Penn State. Approached the mental side differently over the last 2 weeks. He's got the football, and his team is in front of its bitter rival. Green to the air, and it's batted down by a jumping Rasheem Biles, who is flashed for Pitt.
He's a good football player, Mike. He is. Rasheem Biles has shown up today. He's done a lot, whether it's getting to the quarterback, tackles in the backfield, and now getting up, swatting a pass away. He's been all everything. They call him the money player, right? He's kind of a linebacker, hybrid safety, but he's been all over the field.
And in a half in which Pitt has done nothing offensively, just 4 yards since halftime. West Virginia with the football and leading, and the Panthers really need a stop. Donaldson keeps the feet moving for a first down. C.J. Donaldson picks up a dozen.
Yeah, he picks up a dozen. Nice hole because Traylon Davis, the tight end, number 81, watch the tight end sneak through the hole. He gets a help out with the guard, and then he leads up on the linebacker, Lewis. So now you've got kind of getting a 2-for-1 with the tight end, and you don't need a lot of room for Donaldson. He is going downhill. He's not trying to make guys miss. He's trying to go right through your chest. And these are the big yards. These are the yards that you remember in the second half.
And you saw the discrepancy in total yards in the second half for both these teams. A couple touchdowns today for C.J. Donaldson in this rivalry. Green steps up, fires downfield for Bray, and it's incomplete. Ryland Gandy in coverage. There is a flag back near the pocket of Green.
Big call upcoming.
We've had a game full of them.
Yeah,
it feels like huge penalties swinging this either way.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting, number 97, defense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced. Previous play for targeting is under further review.
Yeah, I know it was a big call upcoming because you saw the ending of that play. Because Garrett Green was hit before the ball was thrown, and it seemed like it was a hit above in that head or neck area. Isaiah Neal, 97, right at the end.
They are still looking and reviewing what was called roughing the passer with targeting on the redshirt freshman defensive tackle for Pitt, Isaiah Ghost Neal. What do you got, Kirk?
Yeah, I think I see 3 levels or indicators of targeting. I see, first of all, a defenseless player and a quarterback, Garrett Green. Then I see a hit in the head or neck area. And then also I see the crown of the helmet.
The ruling of field on targeting for number 97 is confirmed. Number 97 has been disqualified. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
Yeah, that's a young player, young redshirt freshman, trying to make a play in the big game, the big rivalry game. And just got there too late, but then also too, crown of the helmet, defenseless player, head or neck area, all levels of targeting.
So Ghost Neal is out for the rest of this one, disqualified, and then he's out for the first half here next weekend against Youngstown State before Pitt opens up ACC play after that. Meantime, 8:54 to go, and West Virginia gets the benefit of that yardage as well. They're in plus territory at the 41, leading this game at Acrisure Stadium.
From the 41.
Mountaineers have been great in this second half. This game was tied at the break at 17. Big formation again for C.J. Donaldson, who falls forward and takes it to the 37 for 4 yards. Donovan McMillan, another stop.
I think this is who you ride down the stretch, right? I'm talking about C.J. Donaldson, handing the ball off to him, utilizing your offensive line. The one thing is, coming into this game, it was all about the pressure that Pitt creates on defense. Pressure, pressure, pressure. But yet they don't have any sacks today. I don't recall them getting the pressure on the quarterback and bringing Garrett Green down. I think they're just running the football right at this defensive front.
Donaldson again, probing up the middle, and C.J. Donaldson gets about 1.5 yards, so third down and medium is coming up, and they continue to ride C.J. Donaldson.
Yeah, and remember the frustrating part about all of this is that West Virginia is going slow, right? And on the opposite side, Pitt has been going fast, so an up-tempo team, and here's a little chippiness late in this game, the rivalry game. But Pitt's offense, they've been wanting to go fast, fast, fast. And in this moment right now, it's West Virginia moving methodically. And this could be 4-down territory, Mike, here as well. If they don't get it, there's a timeout.
Play clock was winding down on Garrett Green and West Virginia.
Has called their first charge timeout of the second half. 30 seconds in length.
So, Neil Brown takes a timeout. While we have a moment, let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
This season, PNC Bank will recognize consumer athletes every week who help their team achieve success on the field. This week's PNC achievers are Sarah Shapansky from women's soccer and Lasse Dahl from men's soccer. Thank you to PNC for celebrating our achievers all season long.
Tulane, Kevin, has made it interesting the last 2 weeks. First Kansas State and now Oklahoma. Meantime, here in Pittsburgh, after the timeout used by Garrett Green and West Virginia, a huge third down for Pat Narduzzi's defense. C.J. Donaldson remains in the game at running back. Here he is up the middle, and Donaldson does not get there. No gain on the play, and it's fourth down, and we'll see if indeed it is four down territory.
I think by that call told me it was going to be four down territory. Try to cut this third down in half, get 2 or 3 yards, and then get back on the ball, but they're going to go for it here like I expected.
They go up tempo. And now Garrett Green looks off to the sideline.
I think they've run this clock down and maybe even call timeout as well.
They're just outside Mike Hayes' range. They go for it on fourth down. Green, out pattern. Ray hangs on again. For a second time in this second half, he converts and hangs on fourth down.
What do they call it, carbon copy? Because they did that on the opposite side of the field earlier, right? They just flipped the formation. They ran the same play that they converted the 4th and 5 on, Mike. And it was a double catch again on that play. So they just ran the same thing. They put him in motion. They get the formation that they want, the matchup that they want, and a perfectly thrown ball to the outside by Garrett Green on fourth down. That's 2 fourth downs in this quarter already. 3 for 3 on fourth down today.
Before this game, no one in the country had gone for more fourth downs than West Virginia. Neil Brown stays aggressive and converts again. And now Jaheim White up the middle for a yard.
Oh, that's a critical first down pickup because it gives you more time. And they just want to play keep away. They want to run the football. They want to put the pressure on Pitt to have to score, to have to go the length of the field. So this plays right into the hands of Neil Brown and the Mountaineers.
Soaking precious seconds away from Pitt on a ticking fourth quarter clock in the backyard brawl. Green to the air, and Green will tuck it, spins away and loses a yard, and now third down coming. Now you think about these fourth downs, it's all in the context of 2 years ago as well. Neil Brown in this backyard brawl here 2 years ago didn't go for a fourth down. He's been aggressive ever since. Third down here. Green, sideline shot, and hauled in by Justin Robinson. Wow! Are you kidding me?
I told you my guys become legends in this game. Justin Robinson is trying to show you he's a legend. You get excited about making big plays in the big game, in the rivalry game. He's covered, and it's all left hand. He needed one hand. He didn't need two. He needed one, and corrals that football in. That's his first reception of the day. They haven't thrown to him all game long. And on a third down, Garrett Green, the belief and the trust in the senior transfer from Mississippi State, hauls in what may be one of the biggest catches of his college career.
Mike Hayes makes it a 10-point margin. A college career that started at Georgia in his home state for Justin Robinson, continued at Mississippi State, and now in Morgantown with West Virginia. And here in Pittsburgh, he makes one of the catches of the weekend to make it a two-score game.
You just give your players the opportunity. And that's what Garrett Green did. That's a belief. A quarterback believing in a player is going to make the play. That wasn't a perfectly thrown ball. But just watch the effort. Effort in the big game is Justin Robinson. He's got one hand hooked, one hand available, but make sure he secures that football when it got to his body, held on to it tight, finished it for the touchdown, man. Unbelievable.
Some productivity for him the last couple of years in Mississippi State. Before that, 2 years at Georgia and only 2 catches. Teammates with the likes of George Pickens, Brock Bowers, Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey. Well, now Justin Robinson has made a name for himself in the backyard brawl. 4:55 to go in the fourth. Mike Hayes' kickoff is a touchback. Pitt will have it at the 25. Tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, #1 Georgia takes on Kentucky. Kicks off SEC play a couple of weeks ago. Georgia thrashed Clemson, and now we'll see how they look in Lexington. All right, so what's the path back in? If you're Pitt, you still have 5 minutes, but you're down 2 scores.
You just got to have positive plays. Try to create an opportunity to get points. They have looked woeful in this second half, Mike.
They've run 11 plays in the second half offensively. They've got 4 total yards, 1 first down, -5 rushing yards. Pat Narduzzi said to Don before the fourth, we got to get the offense going somehow. Holstein sidesteps, takes off, and Eli Holstein slides down right around the 35, and he's got enough for a first down.
And that's a good play to start the drive. You just need positive plays. You can't get 10 points on 1 play.
Got to go fast, and now a flag comes in pre-snap.
Yeah, Kenny Johnson wasn't set #2. So this is a fast offense trying to go even faster. You got to make sure everyone's set. Holstein has to whole half a beat wait.
False start, #2 offense. He was never set. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So the quarterback has to hold it for at least a half a second. Make sure everybody's set, especially wide receivers. They need a little extra time, right? They got to look at the official to the near side. Hey, am I off? Or tell them, let them know I'm on, I'm off the ball. You got to make sure everyone is set. And that last time, Holstein didn't do that. That's how they got the false start on Kenny Johnson.
And the clock rolls under 4.5 to go on Pitt. Holstein under some pressure, and he escapes again. Eli Holstein uses his legs to get into plus territory. Ushered out by Aiden Garnes after 24.
We haven't seen that at all today. Holstein just seeing he's got open green grass to the field and just takes off and runs.
Former top 30 recruit in the country, the Alabama transfer in his 3rd collegiate game. Pressure coming. Holstein moves out to the right and throws for Muntfield, who spins out of bounds. And Konate Muntfield's got a first down, and now a couple of flags come in late at midfield as both teams engaged with one another.
And I wonder if these are going to be offsetting. I think it's on both sides. You got both teams bickering and fighting toward the end of that play. So I think the officials throw 2 flags just to keep calm, right? To get everybody in the right frame of mind. It's getting chippy late in this game. I wonder, do they make these offsetting penalties on both teams?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, #4, defense. His first 15-yard penalty would be added to the end of the run. First down.
Wow, so that is mighty costly on Trey Lathan, the linebacker for West Virginia. And Neil Brown again is left looking for answers.
Yeah, he's saying the same thing. He's saying, look, my guy got hit late at the end of the play. They call it, remember, the second guy is always the one who usually gets the penalty. But remember, late in the game, you have to hold and maintain that composure, especially the team that's leading. Because Pitt, they want to draw some of those fouls and get those free yards.
So it turns into 26 yards with the penalty yardage tacked on via Lathan. Holstein pumps. Holstein steps up. Thought about the check down, and he gets swung down. And yet another penalty flag comes in. Holstein was begging for it, and I think he gets the call.
Yeah, no, I think they may get Jason Collier, the left guard. He was holding Trotter,
holding,
#40.
#50, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, so instead it's on the offensive line for Pitt.
Yeah, Jason Collier, #50. Remember, he's just trying to block. He doesn't know that Holstein's going to take off. He's just trying to stay in front of his guy, who was Josiah Trotter, number 40, and that left arm had hooked underneath the shoulder pad of Trotter right there in front of the official.
So it backs up Pitt.
As Holstein takes off, his 50, just holding on, got the outside hands on those shoulder pads.
And now Holstein under some pressure, fired and out of the reach of a diving Kenny Johnson. And yep, you guessed it, another flag is down. Hammond Russell was in on Holstein.
And these West Virginia Mountaineers, they understand that they smell chum in the water.
Number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And these are like some sharks that are swimming. These sharks smell a little blood in the water, knowing that Pitt has to throw the football. They've abandoned the run game. So they're just line stunts. You're seeing twists in the inside. And there's a hold right there. They're just blowing by guys late in this second half. Who would have guessed the Mountaineer defense down a couple players along the front, but they're rotating through, finding a way to still get to the quarterback.
They have wreaked havoc on Pitt's offensive line. Holstein, pocket collapsing, and that is fired incomplete toward the running back, Derek Davis. The pressure from Tyron Bradley and Trey Lathan involved as well.
Yeah, Lathan got the hand in late. That's why the ball didn't go anywhere, because Lathan extended his hand and blocked the pass of the quarterback. Lathan's just adding in late. So he's coming in, adding in late, forcing that play.
So now it's 3:15 to go for Pitt, down by 10. Still have all 3 timeouts, but it's second down and 30 from the 40. Holstein takes a shot deep downfield toward the end zone. Caught by Day Reynolds. Wow. A flag down as well on the far side of the field.
That's going to be on the defense.
Number 13, defense. That penalty is declined. Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
How does Day catch this one? How does Mr. Reynolds catch? That's his first reception, Mike. His first reception of the season. He's being draped on. Look how many defenders are there. They're holding on to him. They're moving him. And yet the concentration of Dejon Reynolds. They call him Day. I'm calling him All Day, because he made a play on the biggest day of the season so far.
And a 40-yard prayer answered for Pitt. Ben Sauls lasers in the extra point. And this is a 3-point game with 3:06 to go. You said it, the first grab of the season for Day Reynolds.
And it couldn't have come at a better time. Think about it, he's got being dragged and pulled the whole way down the field, but the concentration, the focused. He is focused, and he goes up and makes a play on the football. I've seen Larry Fitzgerald do that a lot here at Pitt. That was Larry Fitzgerald-esque. Dejon Reynolds trying to give up his Larry Fitzgerald impression. But now we've got a 3-point game coming in late.
So Day Reynolds, redshirt junior, last year was 3rd on the team in receptions. This year hadn't had a grab and had only had 30 snaps in 2 games. A Florida transfer a couple years ago in a new offense now. And with the extra point, it's a 3-point game here with 3:06 to go.
Wow, they needed that. Pitt needed that. They scored quickly, and they found a way to get points. And how crucial was the penalties on this drive on both sides?
Well, it's not, what, 4th and 31 from last year, but it's 2nd and 30. Ben Sauls gets it away for a touchback. Don.
Guys, I'll tell you, this defense over here never lost hope. They said we have plenty of time. Watch, our offense is going to score fast, and then it is on us. You got to remember, this is a team that has a lot of confidence in themselves after last week's comeback. Kyle Lewis told me that last year they would have lost that game last week, but he saw a team that stuck together in the halftime in that locker room. He saw a team that never lost hope, and that's exactly what I saw on this sideline, despite them being down 2 scores.
3-9 last year.
That's right.
A disaster of a season for Pat Narduzzi and Pitt. They get a prayer answered here to Day Reynolds in triple coverage. And West Virginia's lead is down to 3. It's a pitch to C.J. Donaldson. Nothing there. Rasheem Biles again. And the sophomore linebacker has stepped up in a big way today.
Now, just downhill. I've told you, I've loved watching Rasheem Biles all week on film. He is just a downhill player. He came in with a couple sacks already on the season. 3.5 tackles for loss coming into today. And he's proved that he is a guy that's going to be a big-time contributor for this defense.
Again, Pitt's got all 3 timeouts. You've got the 2-minute timeout 32 seconds away as well. On second down, it's Donaldson again. Pushes forward, and he picks up 3 yards. So it's 3rd down and 7 coming up.
And Narduzzi sprinted from about the 15-yard line to meet the official at the 30 to call that timeout.
Has called their first charge timeout of the second half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
In this rivalry, all comes down to the remaining 2:17. And how about what Pat Narduzzi said to us about this rivalry? He remembers being at Michigan State in 2007 and Michigan winning against his Spartans on a play against his defense. And he got a call 2 days later on the first day back at school from his wife, who was crying. And then back at home, all the kids were crying as well, because everyone in the house was hearing it for losing a rivalry game. So what Pat Narduzzi do this week, he had his coaching staff count up how many kids total there are. 38 among staff members, and he said, protect your families. That's what this rivalry means.
Powerful. Said it's not about us, fellas. Let's protect our family. Protect our families. You walked away from that meeting yesterday, Mike, understanding how big this game is and how big this 3rd and 7 is for both these teams. Pitt defensively, and can Garrett Green find another conversion on 3rd down?
They need 7. Pressure comes. Green looking to escape, and he's down. Jimmy Scott the sack. 4th down.
They had 8 sacks coming into this game, Mike.
Of the second half.
That's their first sack today. It comes at a time when they needed it most. 2 minutes, 9 seconds left in the game, and they get their first sack. Jimmy Scott coming off the edge on a pure effort sack. The coverage in the back end was outstanding, and Jimmy Scott coming through, working with the effort needed to get Garrett Green down to the ground. What a stop by Pitt.
That's interesting. With the 2-minute timeout, all the analytics have changed. Coaches have been telling us all season. So Pat Narduzzi uses timeout number 2 before the 2-minute timeout, which he still has, and then also 1 timeout remaining.
Now, I probably would have let the 2-minute timeout happen, because depending on this play, Mike, this may take 9 seconds. So you've kind of wasted a timeout because you're going to get the free one at 2 minutes. I'd rather have the 2 timeouts on the opposite end of the 2-minute timeout. And this is where coaches are still tinkering with understanding the 2-minute timeout.
Pitt has already blocked a punt in this game. Ollie Straw gets this one away. It chases Kenny Johnson back to his 25. And the wideout takes off toward the 40, and it's good field position for Pitt, but there is a penalty marker down on the far side of the field near the return.
Now you kind of get what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah,
because
159.
So they've already, so the 2-minute timeout happens now. So that's the extra timeout that they just lost. Had coach waited and allowed the 2-minute timeout to happen,
totally,
they would have punted and still retained the 2 timeouts with under 2 minutes to play. So that's the dilemma.
During return, holding, number 8, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down. It's a 2-minute timeout.
So because of that, just the 1 timeout left for Pitt. We've had 2 incredible catches. Justin Robinson for West Virginia, and then Day Reynolds stepping up. 3-point game. Pitt football when we come back. In a day and age where we have lost rivalries, some of them have softened. This one remains, and it stays filled with hate. Pitt football, Eli Holstein goes to work, back in his own territory, and he takes off toward the 30 with a solid gain run out by Ty French.
Yeah, but he didn't get out of bounds, Mike. They got him tackled inbounds.
The runner was down, inbound, second down.
So that clock continues to wind.
Ben Sauls has a big leg. He says he's comfortable from 60 and in. Pitt down by 3. Holstein, sideline. Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end, past the 45.
Yeah, you would have loved for him to get out of bounds, but the clock still stops under 2 minutes. So the move to change. So do they clock it here or continue to just let the clock run a little bit and call a play? A lot of time being off the clock trying to get set.
Derek Davis, the running back beside Holstein. Holstein fires and finds Mudfield in the field goal range to the 30. 23 yards to the trusty wideout, and Pitt's on a march, thinking more than just 3. Play fake. Holstein scrambles, stayed on his feet somehow, and Eli Holstein slides down at the 14.
You can't coach that. You can't coach that, Mike. That's just instincts. Holstein's protecting the football. He's just trying to find a way.
Called their second charge timeout.
He's just in the pocket, and he plays Houdini. He spins in the pocket, and all of a sudden he sees space and just takes off and runs and has the understanding to slide. Just his 3rd start of his career, Mike. This is the redshirt freshman trying to stamp his name in the backyard brawl rivalry is Eli Holstein. They keep talking about the maturity. How many times did we hear it? I'll tell you, I'd be rich if they had give me $5 every time they said the maturity of Eli Holstein. And you could just see it. He understands what this rivalry. He talked about it. He said, I played in the Iron Bowl. I played against LSU. I understand what those rivalries are in the SEC, but this is different. This is different that he's learned very quickly here at Pitt.
He hit the portal from Alabama before Nick Saban even had announced his retirement. Told us yesterday he knew he wanted a fresh start. Came here, loved this offense. And now he has led Pitt into the red zone, down by 3. That was the second time out from Neil Brown. 51 seconds to go in the 4th. Holstein lobs for Bartholomew in the end zone! And it's incomplete. Flag down as well. Garnett Hollis in coverage on Bartholomew.
Pass interference, number 1. Defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
Almost was able to get that one in bounds, but the penalty now still gives you a fresh set of downs. There is no rush, there is no panic. And Bartholomew is the go-to guy, I think, in this situation. Big-time player, 6'5", 250. The Mackey Award candidate. I think he's the mismatch that I'm looking for in this scenario.
Still 45 seconds to go. Bartholomew flexes out slot right. And now goes into motion. Holstein on the ground. Holstein up the middle, pushing toward the end zone, and they will mark him down at the 1. And Neil Brown will take his final timeout with 36 seconds to go.
Love the play call there. Love the play call there by Cade Bell, the offensive coordinator. Spread everyone out. He's got everybody spread out and then motions Bartholomew in to seal the edge. And 6'4", 225-pound Eli Holstein just keeping those legs moving, keeping those legs churning, right? He's on that machine bike, and he's cranking it. He's cranking it. You know when you're going uphill on the bike, you're turning up the tread? That's Holstein trying to get to the end zone. And if I'm Coach Bell, Bell, I run the same play. I run the same play. I spread out this defense of West Virginia, and I've got good numbers in the box. And motion my tight end back into the backfield and try to hit the same play.
West Virginia has called their third and final charge timeout.
So, you need a yard.
Yes.
You have 36 seconds left. You know you have at least 2 snaps to get that yard here. And you say just keep it in the quarterback's hands.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think he's shown us a trust. Remember last week at halftime against Cincinnati? He goes into the locker room and he tells everybody, hey, that's on me. That's not on the offense. That's not on the defense. We're down in this game because of me, because of my performance. And they go out in the second half and he leads this offense, this team to victory. I think you keep it in the quarterback Holstein's hands.
And Holstein's helmet
on the
had come
previous
off.
play, number 10's helmet came off. We'll have to sit out one play.
His helmet came off at the end of it. Neil Brown took the timeout, and you saw the 8 letters of frustration from Eli Holstein because he's forced to the sideline, and Nate Yarnell, the redshirt junior, who has spent 4 years here in Pittsburgh, has started some games, comes on with Davis beside him. Davis up the middle. Touchdown! Pitt's got the lead. And now Ben Sauls tries to make it a 4-point game. And does. Pitt's offense rises from the ashes in this second half, and the Panthers lead.
And when you need it most, you rely on the offensive line. 68 starts combined on this offensive line. A group that has played together, that trusts and believes in each other. And you need a couple yards to get into the end zone with the backup quarterback, the backup running back. It didn't matter who they rely on. The offensive line to create the space needed for the touchdown by Derek Davis. This was a team down 10 points. 10 points. And me and you, we talked about it, Mike, and Dawn, our crew. We said, man, they were down 21 points last week to Cincinnati. How did they come back and do it? Well, they're showing us now how they did it last week and how they're doing it this week.
West Virginia led this game 34-24 with 4:55 to go. Pitt, in its first 3 drives of the second half, had 4 total yards. Since being down 10, they've had a 75-yard touchdown drive and a 77-yard touchdown drive. Traylon Ray signals for the fair catch, and West Virginia has 32 seconds clinging to hope.
Wow, what a drive. It started with Holstein using his legs, really. He gets the ball out, created a couple plays. Houdini, I mean, he's got the face mask pull, but he still finds a way. The throw to Bartholomew, he was pass interfered and had to be taken out the game, but Nate Yarnell hands it off to Derek Davis and the offensive line of Pitt. Getting the great push. This offense making the play when needed.
And now 32 seconds, needing a touchdown. Green incomplete in the direction of Hudson Clement. And 5 seconds come off the clock, 27 ticks remaining. A game that has changed so suddenly in Acrisure Stadium. And the former blue chip recruit, the Alabama transfer, Eli Holstein, has directed a comeback for the Panthers. Green steps up, floats one, and nearly intercepted by Kyle Lewis. Intended for Preston Fox, and Lewis had a chance to put this on ice.
No, he dropped it. He dropped the interception. He knows it. You got to think about it, Mike. They're only rushing 3, so there's 8 defenders in coverage. So the underneath guys are going to be able to rob and jump. They can jump all the routes, knowing you've got 3 safeties deep. 3 safeties not allowing anything over their heads. So the underneath defenders, this is when you go grab an interception.
Green, sideline, into traffic and batted away. Battle and McIntyre both wanted the pick. It's still 13 seconds to go ahead of 4th down.
Because like I mentioned, Battle said, hey, I'm the underneath defender. That's my ball to go grab. But the safety over the top comes and knocks it away. That's why Battle said, hey, that was my interception. You messed it up for me. See, McIntyre knocks it out of Battle's hands, who was right there for the pick.
And now 4th down, and the last hope for West Virginia. 13 seconds to go. Green looking for somewhere. He fires downfield, picked off by Kyle Lewis, and Pitt will win the backyard brawl. The faces on the 2 sides say it all. Comeback complete for Pitt from 10 down in the 107th backyard brawl. Panthers over Mountaineers. Down 21 last week, down 10 today. The comeback Cats. Pitt does it again and starts 3-0 for the first time since 2020.
Coach Narduzzi told us yesterday, he told his staff, Mike, it's all about protecting your family. And the Pitt Panthers did that today.
Done.
Yeah, I'm here with head coach Pat Narduzzi. Coach, man, 2 weeks in a row, a comeback win from this team. What they show you that they have.
The comeback kids, man, I tell you, that football team right there has got that right in the chest cavity. Talked about it last night. I mean, that's a gut win again. Just tells you what kind of character we have in that locker room. They never gave up. Our defense played a phenomenal. They were on the field the whole second half, phenomenal. You know, they ended with an interception. They get the ball back to their offense, go down and score. I can't say enough about the players in that locker room.
I want to talk about your quarterback because you told us this week he's so mature, even though he's young. How would you describe that 4th quarter performance?
He's a great football player. And then they rip his helmet off. They got to take him out. We got to put Nate Yarnell in there, and we go down to score. You know, that was a heck of a run by Davis. Again, the players in the arena made the plays. They made enough plays to win the football game.
I know you told us you challenged your defense, specifically your secondary, in this one. How do you think they answered that?
I think our DBs did a heck of a job, period. I mean, some of the calls we got, late hit out of bounds, they catch a ball with their hands in the face. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You know, wow. We beat West Virginia in the backyard brawl, and we beat the officials too in one game.
Coach, you told me this one is personal. How you feeling right now?
It's personal, and we're going to have a damn good time in the locker room. Hail to Pitt.
Congrats, Coach.
He locked his doors to the facilities so that no one from West Virginia on the Steelers side would get in. Tell you what, in Pittsburgh tonight, doors are going to be open late after that one.
He said we'll learn a lot about my football team. Last week they come back to victory. They do it again this week. Youngstown State next week. This could be a 4-0 Pitt team heading into ACC play. And what I think is a wide open ACC team. Mike, dare I say, opportunity to not only win the conference and get this team to a college football playoff. It's early, Mike, but it's that type of victory today in the biggest rivalry game for this team this season showed me a lot that Pitt is for real.
And devastation for West Virginia, who's 1-2 with losses to two of its biggest and their biggest today rival in Pittsburgh. Final score, 38-34. Kyle Lewis capped it for Pitt in the 107th Backyard Brawl. Remember the name Eli Holstein for Kirk Morrison, Don Davenport, our entire crew led by Caitlin Urka and Ashley Ward, Mike Monaco, saying so long. Let's get you to the studio.